And welcome everybody to Golden Paddling Pool 290. Here we are. We've been such a long way of paddling pool. We're so close to 300 now. This is the last golden before the big one. I am Pat here with Spy. Spy, how you doing tonight?
I am doing absolutely great, and as you said, we're really close to Paddling Pool 300, and honestly, I don't even know how long Paddling Pool has been going for. Like, hasn't it been going for like almost 5 years? Or maybe I'm completely tripping, but I don't know. But it's just crazy how many paddling pools there already are.
It's closer to 6 years than 5.
Oh, okay,
now,
never
Spy.
mind. Never mind then. I mean, I knew it was going in Splatoon 2.
Hey, there's about 52 weeks per year, and paddling pool is every week, so.
All right, I just
have
have to do basic math. I'm sorry, I'm not that.
Yep.
I'm not a nerd. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I am.
Nerd. Well, I apologize. Sorry that you're a nerd. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not sorry that I'm a nerd. I love being a nerd. I love watching a lot of Splatoon. We're going to have awesome Splatoon action tonight, and we'll start with Prismatic going against Inksouls, two pretty good European teams.
Yes, and as always, guys, it's Golden Paddling Pool, so it's gonna be zones only.
Yep.
So we basically have 2 Triton Cups. No, I'm just kidding. No, but Golden Paddling Pool is always such a blast. Personally, I don't even know these teams. I've heard of Prismatic before, I think, but I'm not really sure about their players. I don't know which comps they're gonna be running, but I'm gonna expect like at least one Neo Splash because that weapon is pretty popular right now.
Yeah, well, Inksouls, they became active a bit more recently, so it's normal that you don't know them. You're back from your holiday.
Yeah. I just realized, yeah, that comp is very interesting.
Oh, yes, it is.
I mean,
that's Inksouls for you.
yeah, I mean, on the side of Prismatic, the only thing a bit weird is custom Wellstring, but even that weapon is fairly common right now, I've heard, because, like, the location of everything. But damn, that is an interesting comp from Inksouls, something that I don't think is seen very often. I mean,
yeah.
Arrow Spray in competitive? What is going on?
Oh, the thing is, the Reef Slider is getting more and more use, and that Silver Arrow Spray kind of works, especially if you're not ready for it. If you underestimate it, it can simply run at you and splash you with so much ink. And right now, Inksouls are holding the zone pretty well, and that's the power of having both the Dynamo and the Hydra. You have so much power to stop your opponent, and Splatos right there going in, trying to get a third pick. It's not going to work, but Prismatic are struggling to get out of their spawn right now. With 2 down onto Inksouls, I guess they should be able to get to the zone. But here comes the Reef Slider to delay things. No, it's still Reef Slider.
Yeah, I was about to say Reef Slider may be good in zones, but I feel like an overall kill power, aside from the 500 meter hitbox, it's not that strong still. But yeah, I feel like the comp that Inksouls is running is fairly balanced in terms of speed, because like you have 2 very slow weapons, one weapon that is fairly middle weight. I don't know, like not slow but not fast either. And then the Aerospray just spamming, you know, the Reef Slider. And then on the side of Prismatic, you just have like a regular comp that you would see in a lot of tournaments, like Flusher. And what was that Zuka?
Yeah, the Zuka really able to do a lot for Inksouls right now. And the Carbon is going to have to jump. Inksouls were able to keep control of the lead and are back in control of the zone right now, but they know that all of Prismatic are already ready to push and are not pushed as well as they were at the start of the game, which means they will be right back in with the triple ink strikes. They're painting the zone as much as they can. Inksouls needs to move back and let Prismatic take control now.
Yeah, I feel like Inksouls is really on the back foot. Oh, never mind. Only the Slosher is alive. Never mind, the Carbon just respawned, so this is basically a wipeout here. Is this just the commentator's curse again? I mean, I have not commentated in a while, and now the curse is already setting in again. I feel like that's... God damn it.
Yeah, these are teams that you're unlikely to know how well they're going to do, how to fight it, because how do you fight a Hydra and a Dynamo together. Like, we don't know. Outside, if you're not in Inksels, you don't know what's going to happen because they are so unique in what they do that their opponent needs to learn to adapt. And right now, Prismatic is still struggling to find that control. As I say that, 2 down onto Inksels. Prismatic able maybe to get back in there, but Carbon on the zone, looking to get a few splats,
Reef
but is going to be punished by the Reef. Inksels still in control right there.
And the Wavebreaker is just chilling in zone, doing its thing, which is not that much, but we appreciate Reef Slider for that. And then the Hydra just staying there on the little tower, they're getting a pick. And yeah, I just realized, I feel like if you don't, I mean, nobody's used to playing against a Dynamo and a Hydra. So I feel like fighting against them is a bit unusual. But Inksals is so close to getting a KO, but now the Slosher is there on the right foot, they're pushing. Together with the Enza, but it's not close enough because the Hydra actually has some pretty good painting power if it's just fully charged because it can fire for like 10 seconds, okay? That's just crazy.
Also, Prismatic only had 2 players left on the ground, where Inksels, they had all of their players ready to paint the zone right there. Which means they keep the zone, which means they take game number 1. Remember, we're in the group stage, it's a best of 3, but there's a lot of games still to go. Every game matters.
That is true, even though this is still like the best of 3 for this first set. But anything can happen. Wait, I forgot I forgot what the next map is.
The next map is going to be Barnacle and Dime, but one thing to note is that around, like at the start of the game, Inksels took control and did whatever they wanted. Around the end of the game, the Prismatic was coming back, was learning slowly how to fight Inksels, and that's one of the strengths of Inksels, is that you're not ready for that comp. You're not prepared for what's about to happen. Right now, the players of Prismatic are talking, are discussing, okay, how do we beat this? How do we do against that? We'll see if they're able to adapt fast enough to answer what Inksels is doing, because I feel like the players of Prismatic, in terms of raw mechanical skills and coordination, they were on par with Inksels. It's just that they were not expecting that playstyle.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, how do you exactly counter a Hydra? Because I feel like once you just fast enough to get a pick on the Hydra or just to disturb it from charging, you already have one player out of the equation. But the problem is, how are you gonna kind of, you know, go about and try to distract the other teammates while you take down the Hydra? I feel like what weapon you use for that is gonna be really hard to figure out, because I mean the roles are kind of set for like midline or Slayer or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just the question, which weapon are you gonna pick against a Hydra to kind of get it out? Maybe I feel like the most obvious candidate would be Pencil, because it has more range. But it just also kind of depends on the comp that the teams want to run. And maybe Inksels is gonna change it up again. We'll see.
We will see indeed. To me, the big question is, we are going on to Barnacle and Dime, a map that is much, much flatter than Sturgeon Shipyard. And on Sturgeon, having the machine and the Dynamo was incredibly good for Inksels. Going on to Barnacle, Inksels feels like the team that should change comp right there, because, oh, well, there
is an Octobrush.
They change the machine, they keep the Dynamo. Meanwhile, on the side of Prismatic, they're not changing their weapons. I feel like that's a good call on their side. They need to change the way they play around Inksels, not necessarily their comp.
Yeah. But also, just like an Octobrush, this time they have a Zipcaster weapon. Zipcaster is a really strong special right now. Of course, it kind of depends on the main weapon. But also, a good opening by the Hydra. There's immediately a Reef Slider poking at the Wellstring. There are already 2 people down, and I think 1 person just respawned. So yeah, this is a really strong opening by Inksels there. The Octobrush already is gonna push in with the Zipcaster, try to wreak some havoc, but that didn't do that much, and now Prismatic ready for a counter push, but there's a Reef Slider again, because that thing is gonna farm itself in 10 seconds. And and now there's some more special action there, and now it's fighting in zone because the Dynamo is kind of there painting, and yeah, now Inksels kind of has to back up because Prismatic is on Warfoot there.
Yep, now it's really on Prismatic to establish themselves, to put themselves in the right position of control. And it's on Inksouls to find the way in. The Reef Slider is going to find one and get away with their life as well. 2 down onto Prismatic. Inksouls are going to run forward with a few more splats. The lead was so close to flipping Spy, but it was not enough. Inksouls simply going forward, getting the splats and getting the zone.
Speaking of zone, there's triple ink strike because we haven't seen that one before. I'm just kidding. I feel like Slosher is just one of the best weapons in the game right now. You can't prove me otherwise. Like, Slosher just has such a big amount of value in every aspect that it has. And now we see Wellstring trying to paint the zone a bit, but it's of course difficult for a weapon, even though its paint is not that bad. The Carbon gets picked off by the Hydra there. And the Octobrush, just being the annoying weapon, gets 2 picks. Yeah, Octobrush is really annoying to fight, in my opinion. It just feels it just feels unpredictable and kind of... It isn't that consistent, but once the enemy kind of finds their footing, it gets very consistent. Yep. And now Inksouls kind of on the back foot here again. The Welshing tried to get some chip damage here. And now it's just kind of up to the specials that Inksouls are going to use. But they're 3 down. Prismatic getting the lead switch there. And I think one person on the Inksouls even jumped out because of that.
Yeah, very nice lead by Prismatic right there. Inksouls still struggling to go forward. They send the Zipcaster, they send the Reef Slider, they send everything they have to go forward, to go in. But it's not enough yet. Oh yes, they're able to capture the zone, take that control now, and it's pretty good for them right now. And okay, with 2 down onto Prismatic, it looks like Green Inksouls are going to establish themselves in control now.
That is certainly true. Now the Wavebreaker placed onto the zone. Inksouls continuing to get their points down, but there's the zone switch there. I honestly just thought the fountain was Zipcaster, but never mind, that was just the water. And now Prismatic with the Carbon here, trying to get its special so it can put out some Zuka that is hopefully gonna get a splat there. But yeah, now it's really even in terms of just a raw, player power, because both teams have all their players ready. Both teams have the cooler, and now there was a Trizuka, and now we saw that the Reef Slider got a pick through the cooler there, but Prismatic still on such a good footing there. Oh my god, the Carbon managed to sneak behind the screen and get a triple, I think. Or maybe in combination with the other teammates, maybe like a 2 assists or 1 assist, but that was crazy.
Yeah. And now this is Prismatic that learned how Inksouls is playing. This is Prismatic that discussed, okay, how do we fight the Dynamo Hydra combo? And how do we shut down that Reef Slider that's constantly going into us? How do we punish that? How do we prevent that? And now it's on Inksouls to switch up their game. They have a very unique but also a very specialized comp. Now they need to make that comp work despite their opponent being ready for it, being prepared for it, and having shown that they are absolutely fine with this weapon being on the other side.
That is true. I feel like now that Prismatic kind of figured out their playstyle, it's going to be a bit harder to kind of get value out of these weapons, even though if the comp could work. And I feel like if we talk just about raw strength of the weapons, I feel like Dynamo is kind of the best one, because Hydra has some good damage too. Yeah. But just approaching it kind of makes it obsolete sometimes. And Aerospray doesn't have the best kill power either. Octobrush is kind of inconsistent, so I feel like they maybe need to work on their consistency of weapons. Maybe pick like one stronger weapon, and I feel like the comp could kind of even itself out. But we're gonna have to see. Maybe they're still classy and they'll be like, no, we're not changing our weapons. Maybe they just want to be true to themselves. But we'll see.
We will see indeed, and these 2 teams have shown us how good they can be. If I take a look at the bracket right now, there's only 3 teams in the bracket, in that group. That's Group A, and the other team of the group is Pizza Parlor or Scene number 1. So the team that wins this round, this next game, is very likely to. Is sure to be in the alpha bracket, and the team that loses is very likely to get to beta.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot at stake in this game.
That is fairly true. And I mean, just the game 3 immediately in the first set, I feel like we all like to see that, and it's on peak, aka Robo Ramen. This is still peak to me, like this is the peak map of this game.
It's a very good map, and what I like is that it's a map that enables lots of different playstyles. In the first game on Sturgeon, we saw like weapons that like elevation and cover be at their ease. On Barnacle, we saw the power of range. On here, every weapon is going to be good, and right now, Inxels is bringing a splatter shot instead of the brush. On the other side, Prismatic keeping their composition that work. They know that they can fight this team. Now it's all about who is able to seal the deal.
Yes, and now Inxels with that splatter shot instead of the Octobrush, a little bit more flexibility, and also just with the Zuka that just got 2 picks. And Prismatic slowly working their way towards getting the zone there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we see that Inxels is definitely a little bit more flexible now with the splatter shot because it's just a flexible weapon on its own. I feel like it can never hurt in a comp, especially when you're teamed up with weapons that are kind of not necessarily weak, but kind of limited in some things that they can do. And yeah, splatter shot is just a great way to kind of even it out. And now it's kind of just staying back and getting some specials. And Reef Slider getting a double there, and Inxels changing the lead in their favor, and now the Slosher's kind of in a tight situation, getting a pick there though. And now they're just kind of running away from one of the players of Prismatic, I think. Or no,
right.
Inxels. Prismatic has the Slosher.
Yeah, Prismatic right now, with the counter push, being able to retake the zone incredibly fast. And really getting the push as a team forward with a nice coordination. Now it's on Inxels to find their way in, and they're struggling to simply establish themselves. Dynamo is going to get splatted right there. Not able to do much. The screen is deployed, but there's nobody from Inxels to follow up on the screen. Prismatic, they have the lead, and they're looking like they're going to get more and more points. There's just one push left for Inxels now.
That is true, and the Carbon was just kind of trying to get some, displacement there, but it didn't quite work out. They were immediately picked off, and now it's kind of even there, at least for the zone. But now we see the Carbon fighting against the Dynamo, getting picked off, and now Prismatic kind of in a player disadvantage again. The screen comes off, and now the splash shot kind of sharking there gets detected by the point sensor. And the Slosher getting a trade with the Dynamo. Now it's really even in terms of players again. The Zuka is coming out, getting a random pick that they didn't even intend to do. Oh, wait, no, that was totally wanted. I apologize. It's Zuka. And now the Hydra just staying there in mid, getting some range there. I feel like that's just the biggest advantage that they kind of have, because Wellstring doesn't have that much range. And so Hydra can kind of cover for their teammates.
And taking that kind of control is pretty good. Penalty was applied onto Inxels, but Inxels still keeping control over the zone. And right now, Prismatic is losing player after player. Inxels finally able to move forward ahead of the zone. Spawn comes Prismatic, who now have to fight like hell to get out. They use the Zuka simply to get a bit, and they're able to get back to the zone, but they need to paint it fast because we're close to a lead swap, Spy.
That is true. The Tri-Strike tried to do some things there, but now there's a Reslider that's gonna make that obsolete completely. Oh, okay, that is the lead switch. That was really close. I feel like the Slosher kind of has to back out now because, yeah, they're totally done for. And now the Zuka again by Inxels, and that is gonna be game! And the Hydra even got a pick at the end.
Yeah, incredible set by these two teams. What a great way to start this golden paddling ball, Spy.
That is really true. But you could see that the zone kind of, the shot kind of did wonders for team here, because it just added so much flexibility to just the entire comp. whether it be paint or aggression or just special output in general, that was kind of the thing that this team needed here. Inksoul's just kind of being aggressive overall, especially with the Aerospray. I didn't expect it to be that aggressive. I felt like it was just gonna be laying back, painting special the entire game, but it actually did.
Yeah, it worked pretty well. Inksoul's playing a good combination of coordination and simply creating the surprise, running in with Bazooka or the Reef Slider whenever they could to get the few splats. And they had several pop-ups, especially in this final game, to get the lead, to get the win. And look at that Reef Slider, just...
Yeah. It's really ridiculous sometimes, but that's just balancing for you, so...
But yeah, that's game number 3, and that was just the first round of this golden paddling pool. We'll take a short break so we can prepare the next game. Do not go anywhere.
Stay tuned and stay fresh. Alright, welcome back, folks, to Golden Paddling Pool 290. But, yeah.
Hello?
Hello. Did that even work? Can you even hear me?
Wait, on?
Yeah, it's okay. It was just a voice crack, okay? Never mind. Hello,
Yes.
people. Welcome back to the Golden Paddling Pool. This is a really weird start. I tried to be exaggerational or something and kind of scream, but that didn't work.
Well, it's too late now. The game is starting, Spy. Let's get right in. Dreadstrong versus Operation Zero are going to fight now.
And we see. Oh, is that CDS?
That looks like
It
CBS,
is.
yes.
And Paintbrush. There are so many experimentational. Oh, okay. Never mind. The match is not starting.
I guess we had the wrong teams set up or something. We'll reset, but yeah, we'll start on the Shipshape Cargo Company. Reminder, if you're new to paddling pool, this is a golden paddling pool. This is every 10 paddling pool. It's grouped into single elimination always, and it's zones for more zones. Yeah, what makes it golden? It's the care
Golden.
we put into it. Yeah.
The logo is different.
Yeah, also the logo is different.
And yeah, I feel like that was just kind of a team error there or something. I don't know, but I just okay.
Yeah, we the teams were badly set, or Observer Dorian was set as a player, which is rarely a good idea.
That is true, unless they want to play too.
They should.
I was already surprised why we saw a junior there, but yeah, that's just their weapon. But honestly,
yeah.
junior is very good right now, I've heard.
Yeah,
Or at least it's
if we look
solid.
at the group info, Dreadstrong, they won their first game. They're the first set 2-0 against Blake Spruter, getting a tiny upset in terms of seeding. On the other side, Operation Zero was against Sanagi, who is the big team of the group, so they lost there. They're still in need of a win if they want to make their mark on this paddling pool. But let's see. Right now, teams are getting ready. We will be going into the games
In
right
0 seconds.
now.
If we just go off the Splatoon timer, then 0 seconds.
Yep.
All right, now I'm confused. Was like the paintbrush? Was it on purpose? Are they actually playing paintbrush? All right, that we have seen that comp. That is still the same comp, but no, we have. Okay, that is completely different.
Yeah, people were just playing funny weapons. But yeah,
were
here
trolling.
we go. Dreadstrong are going with the no backline. They want to fight. All 4 of these weapons like fighting. Operation Zero, between the Pencil and the Nautilus, they'll be happy to see people run at them because they have the tools to punish. And here comes the punish right there. Both teams have lost a lot of players. Ooh, it's just the Pencil for Zero. Dreadstrong are opening pretty strong and getting control over the zone right now.
That is true because Dread is indeed strong. I literally just realized what the name of the team meant, but yeah, just Dread strong. But yeah, both teams with a very, very aggressive comp, except for like the Pencil. Very interesting weapons indeed. We see here that the Tetra of Operation Zero using the Reef Slider because Tetras are actually good because Reef Slider is good now. In zones at least. And now we actually see that Dreadstrong has such a good control there. Nautilus getting a pick on one of the members there. And now we see the Viper kind of being a little bit aggressive, almost having the hammer ready, fighting against the Nautilus, getting a pick as well. Now we have the return of the Reef Slider, and now the hammer, it splashed against the wall, but that is a wipeout by Dreadstrong, and that is that was kind of a sweep.
Yeah.
It was not even 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty fast, and Dreadstrong simply going forward, getting fight after fight, and once they were there, getting more fights, getting more splats, getting more control. I mean, it was really Dreadstrong showing their fighting power and getting splat after splat after splat. Ryan, why is that in the replays?
Yeah, I mean, that is true. I feel like the Reef Slider is just cheesing through everything.
Hey, I mean, Reef Slider is finding more and more use, and it's not just its ability to get into the zone. That was nerfed by Nintendo, and you see every time the Reef Slider goes onto the zone, it's not completely taking it. The Tetras on the side of Operation Zero Reef slid the zone. They didn't work. They didn't get the zone, and that's why they lost. It's really like you need to be smart with your Reef Sliders, and I feel like players have become more and more creative with it, which has shown recently a lot of results.
That is true, and I feel like Tetris just don't care about their life anyway because they have 500 mains of quick respawn and they're just gonna respawn instantly even though they have cooler. But it's still Tetris, so they're used to dying, so that's just fine. And I feel like Dread is just the pain support of all the comps anyway, because Dread pains so much. Like, it's incredible how much that weapon pains.
It pains, it fights, it is a very, very good weapon, especially if you have a team that can complete the kills, get the chip damage that you need to turn your 2 shots into a 1 shot. Right now, Operation Zero, I feel like they need to step up their game. They need to go faster and match the fight that Red Strong is bringing to them. On Umame Runes, if they're able to set their pencil up above between the 2 zones on top mid, they should be able to get some control. But again, they need to set themselves up, and Dreadstrong has been running at them and getting a lot of results so far.
That is true, but now we're gonna see how this is gonna play out. I really like Umami Zones ever since the rework that they did. And we're gonna see how it plays out here a lot more. And I'm just glad that this map is being picked more.
Yeah.
Because it can really shine here. And now I think we have the same comps from before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And it looks like Operation Zero is getting the first fight going their way. It's just the zap for Dreadstrong. Fighting for dear life. Is going to be sent back to spawn. Operation Zero right now is in control and making some points, but they lose the next fight. And Dreadstrong does again what they've been doing, which is go forward, win the fight, and keep going forward.
Yeah, I mean, they have a Splatana Wiper. That thing's entire thing is like going forward and maybe get some hammer picks there if hammer it decides to work for once. And now the Splatana Wiper fighting another person there, I feel like that was maybe a draw. I don't even know anymore. And that was splashed out. I love that special right now. I don't know why. Getting a double. And now Dreadstrong really in good control. The Zap is giving all of their teammates some jumps so they can get back into fighting right away. And now the Zap kind of backing up because they need to paint the damn cooler again. And now it's time to back up because they're not fighting that Tetra.
Yeah, not working that well so far, but Game Master with the Tetras getting in and in, buying a lot of time to rest Operation Zero. Meanwhile, the hammer going in, getting one, almost getting the pencil as well. Dreadstrong are back in control of the zone, but Operation Zero, I feel like they're fighting much, much stronger than they were in game number 1.
Absolutely. I feel like in the first game, it was just kind of, you know, getting used to the flow there. And now they can really show what they're made of. But we see that Dreadstrong still has a really good control. Just the Dreadringer painting all over the bottom path there. And the Splashdown is coming out. I feel like now we see a Reslider. And that gets one pick, but the Dread goes down as well. The penalty is built off, so now it's time for Operation Zero to kind of push in there. But the Tetras being forced there by 2 sides, getting picked off. The Pencil tried to give jumps, but they're 2 down again. And now this is really a bad situation. The Tetra jumping to one of their dead teammates again, but the Dreadstringer really strong in fighting there, kind of outplaying them there. And now, yeah, we saw the Nautilus trying its best, but yeah, that's just game 2 for Dread Good. Or Dread, I don't know, is it?
Dreadstrong.
Dreadstrong, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
For some reason, I always just think of Weapon Good. I don't know why. Dreadstrong, I'm sorry.
It's kind of the idea, so it works.
Yeah, of course, but I always just think of good instead of strong. But like not G-O-O-D, but G-U-D. You mean, you know, like good.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, Dreadstrong showing really what they like to do is go forward, get into the fight, get into more fights. Operation Zero, they were able to punish these fights once or twice, but they were not able to win these fights enough that it mattered. They were not able to establish themselves, keep their positions. And when you have a Pencil and a Nautilus, you want to keep the positions that you've taken. Right there, Dreadstrong simply imposing their pace and making sure that they get the 2-0 in this set.
Yeah, also I feel like with Nautilus you kind of have to find your balance between going in a bit more aggressively and just staying a bit on the back foot. But with a Pencil, I feel like you should be more aggressive, but it's like still kind of hard to find their balance, especially if you have a splashdown weapon that also kind of has to go in. But with the charge time and everything, it's kind of hard to catch people off guard with splashdown, for example.
Yeah, it was very well played by Dreadstrong. We're going to take a short break as we get ready for round number 3. Don't go anywhere.
Alright folks, welcome back to Golden Paddling Pool 290. We are here back. I'm Spy and this is Pat because Pat is patting around. I don't know what to say. Hello Pat.
Hi Spy, and it's time for round number 3 of the group stage. Both of these teams are qualified for Alpha Bracket, but the team that wins this gets the best seed, gets to advance with a bit more comfort, knowing that they will have an easier time in the top bracket. It's going to be FC Bayern Munich going against Cherry Wave.
I think those are both German teams. I feel like the first one, for me at least, is very obvious, and I think Cherry Wave, I feel like a friend of mine. Yeah, those are both German teams, or at least one German in both of them. FC Bayern Munich is like the football club of Munich.
Yeah.
And yeah, God. Okay, very interesting comp here. I feel like we've seen a lot of Mint Decapitator in like the last few weeks. But Zimmy is also something that has gotten more popular, and just like Neo Splash, I knew that we're gonna see a Neo Splash somewhere.
Yeah.
And then both teams there going in with some specials.
I'm very impressed to see a team bring both the Mint Decapitator and a Zimmy in the same team at the same time. That's a double bubbler. They'll have a good time holding the ground that they have, but to push, they're going to be very reliant on their slusher to get the strikes to allow them to go forward. As I say that, Cherry Wave, they have control over the zone right now, and they have the weapons to hold the control that they have. Bayern Munich are going forward, trying to get the splats, and that's exactly what they need to do right now. Winning these fights, they are on the zones, able to paint one, able to paint the other, and they take control now.
That is very true there, and now we see that Munich kind of on the front foot there. We see the Mint Decapitator kind of jumping back in, but there's the Neo Splash with the Tri-Strikes once again. And yeah, but double bubbler is actually much more common than I believe people think. I've seen some double bubbler comms in other tournaments.
Yeah?
But yeah, it's much more common now, because bubbler is actually good as well.
It is pretty good indeed. Here comes the strike from Cherry Wave. They're not going to stop Bayern Munich from getting more and more. And ooh, the bomb onto the bubbler. That's one of the dangers of this special.
True. And we see Munich there with the Zuka and the Tri-Strike. I want to see how much special the end splash got, but we're not going to see that because we're spectators. Sad.
Yeah, but right now the FC is still in control of the zone. They are getting more and more points, and Cherry Wave need to push forward. They're waiting on their specials to do so, but they don't have much time. Just 5 more ticks and it will be too late. The strikes are coming just in time. They're enough to get one zone. They need to get the other one, and they're running at it as fast as they can. Both zones are contested right now. One bubbler is going to guarantee the one zone, but they still need the other one. 2 down onto the FC. Cherry Wave able to keep themselves alive. Now they need a huge hold onto the zones.
That is true there. We see Cherry Wave doesn't have a special ready, so now it's gonna be really just up to which team has more specials ready in less time. We see that the Tri-Strikes are already coming out, and the Cooler is also coming out now. But now the Pencil is countering with another Cooler, but there's a Zuka as well from the side of Munich. And they're just gonna push back in right now, and the shot tried to get into the bubbler, but against the Mint Decapitator, that's really risky, and it didn't really pay out for them.
Yeah, and here comes the strikes. Right now, players are throwing themselves forward. And Bayern Munich, they know that if they're able to apply penalty there, they get a great option on victory. But they lost 2 players and they didn't apply it. They didn't paint enough. Right now, the Decapitator for Cherry Wave is holding. Not enough to keep the zones, but enough to at least keep the control. And with a big bubbler, I guess Cherry Wave will take control back, will set themselves back up. But FC is still there to fight.
That is true there. And Cherry Wave also just is placing another bubbler. I want to get into that more later when we have kind of a time to talk about it more. But now we also have Tri-Strikes there, and another Tri-Strike by the End Splash, and another special being the Zuka by Munich. And now it's only 1 minute left. Cherry Wave still is able to kind of hold control of mid. We see that the Zimmy kind of brought wonders and kind of brought revenge to its teammate that just got knocked down there. And Cherry Wave being really close to getting the penalty off again, but the shot and every weapon just painting all over the zone. It's really hard, but the Slosher trying to contest the shot there. Slosher just being a really strong weapon against Shot, but Shot managed to get the pick. And we also see Zimmy kind of staying there in the corner, jumping up because it's way too dangerous there. And the Zuka again getting a trade against the Mint Decapitator. And the penalty applied to Cherry Wave once again.
Yeah, and right now with 2 down, 3 down onto Cherry Wave, FC Bayern Munich has control. 10 seconds left, and the Cherry Wave pretty much needs to run forward. And again, that's where the double bubbler is an issue. You don't have these tools to run forward, and it's not going to be enough. Oh wait,
No.
only one zone.
That is like the thing with the comp that they were just kind of picking. We saw that one comp had 2 bubble weapons, being the one for was it Cherry Wave? It was Cherry Wave, right? Yeah.
Cherry Wave, double
that
bubbler.
that team had double bubbler, and usually just like the best counter for that special is obviously Tri-Strike. And Munich had Tri-Strikes, but it was only on the end splash. To be fair, the weapon did get a lot of Tri-Strikes, but if they kind of coordinate their bubbles, then it's very, very hard to get into the bubbles. Because, especially, like, Munich didn't have any other specials other than Tri-Strike to counter bubble. Because Trizuka's damage got nerfed against bubble a few patches ago, I think. And Rain doesn't do that much damage in general, and Cooler doesn't do damage at all. So countering that bubble is very, very difficult.
The thing is,
But they somehow did it.
The thing is, on the double zones and on this map where the zones are very well separated, a big bubbler is going to at best give you one zone, and one zone is not enough. You need to. I feel like Cherry Wave, like their double bubblers comp, it can work on this map. It didn't give them enough control. And what you need on Umami zones is the ability to push, and Bubbler can help you once you're forward, once you have gotten that push. The big Bubbler can give you a lot of dominance over the map, but it cannot help you go forward. FC Bayern Munich had the tools to do that, Cherry Wave didn't, and that's what created the difference there.
That is true. And I feel like just Bubble is definitely better on a map like Mako Mart, that we're gonna see in a few seconds there. And yeah, I feel like I feel like they could get used to that kind of bubble strategy a bit more on maps like these, but it's still kind of hard to execute it if you have 2 bubblers and 1 cooler that doesn't really get you in. And the other special you had was a Tri-Strike, I think. Yeah, with Slosher.
The Slosher, yeah.
So that's really, really hard to get in against like other special weapons like Zuka, or just other special weapons that get you in.
And we're not really changing our weapons. The only change I see is the Nautilus being now called to have these triple splashdown on the side of Bayern Munich. This is nice for Cherry Wave. That Slosher is going to be incredibly key into pressuring these ledges, making sure no cover is enough right now as Cherry Wave is trying to establish themselves. They have control over the zone, now they want to keep it.
That is very, very true. Cherry Wave was with a really strong opening. We see that the Mythic Habitator has their bubble ready and places it next to that one kind of tower there, or just bunker, if you will. And the triple splash going off, but sadly didn't get a pick there. And now it's only the pencil remaining while Cherry Wave continues to get their points down. And now just kind of trying to poke with bombs and Tri-Strikes. But that didn't work out that well because the pencil was like, nah, and they got a pick on them. And now was fighting.
Yeah, Cherry Wave holding pretty strong, but Bayern Munich, thanks to the splashdown, able to paint the zone pretty fast. Ooh, but the Decapitator almost getting 2 for 1, but it's only going to be a simple trade right there. Bayern Munich are in control of the zone now, and we've seen how powerful they can be in their big holds. And I say that, Cherry Wave already getting back onto the zone. And that's the power of Mako Mart Spy. You always have a way in because there's so much cover, which means Cherry Wave will be able to put their bubbler in a much more useful positions.
True. And now we see the Nautilus being a lot more aggressive, trying to get a hold of that Zimmy. They need to back up, but now the Mythic Habitator is on that one bunker, but they sadly get picked off there. And now the bubbler placement is there again. and the Zimmy just trying its best to paint. But there's a lot of counterplay from the teams. They kind of just try to poke at them with some chip damage. The Slosher being really aggressive. Sally doesn't get a pick in combination with the Minticavitator, but that really doesn't do them any good because they're still there jumping out right now. And the penalty's off, but the Minticavitator getting 2 picks at once. Cherry Wave is able to get the zone again.
Yeah, Cherry Wave holding their lead, making sure that they stay in control enough, but they have such a huge penalty to deal with right now. Bayern Munich is all around them, preparing the next push, preparing to take back that control, and with the Slusher being down already, Pyro getting the second one right there. It's 2 down on Cherry Wave, and FC is back in control of the zone. They have 2 minutes to get that lead back, Spy.
That is true, and that while it may be very difficult, we see that one of the players of Munich is trying to go in with the Zuka, but the Minticavitator is not having it, immediately picking them off in combination with the Slosher. And there's one person jumping, and it's the same person again. And now we see the pencil painting there. And now the zone is kind of neutralized, but they're able to get it back again on the side of Cherry Wave. And now it's going to be really, really hard for Munich to get back into the zone, because while they did use some specials, it may not be enough, as it was only the Tri-Strike. But now they have a Zuka ready as well. They just need the right moment to use it. But we see the Slosher being really, really aggressive, trying to poke at the Neo Splash and even getting the pick there. The shot is trying to get onto the bunker, not making it in time before getting picked off. And now the pencil is also just there remaining, being picked by the Zimmy there. Really, really aggressive gameplay here, folks. And now the Zimmy trying to back up, but the Tri-Strikes are everywhere. It's really hard. They almost went down, but they still remain. And there's a Zuka and Tri-Strike. They just got nuked. And now one of the person of Munich is chilling there.
It's a game of punish, Spy. Right now, both teams are waiting for the other team to make a mistake and get punished. Bubbler deployed above the zone. The strikes are going to come directly at the zone to paint it. Zone has been flipping left and right, but right now with 2 down, FC Bayern Munich is in trouble. Cherry Wave are looking to get this game, as there's only just a few more seconds left in there, and FC Bayern Munich needs that next push to work. They need all their specials, they need everything they have. The strikes are coming in, the Zuka is ready, the cooler is activated, and everybody's trying to get in. Golde able to get one. Are they able to paint the zone in time? There's no penalty left, Spy.
That is definitely the win for Cherry Wave there. And what I just noticed, we saw that Munich had a V Nautilus last round.
Yeah.
I feel like the switch to gold Nautilus was kind of understandable, but it was also just kind of a gamble, because we saw that the comp that they had was a bit more defensive, at least what I saw. Like, not in terms of how much they fought, but just in terms of the roles that they were playing in. We saw that they had a pencil, just being backline all the time, and Neosplash also has to play a bit more defensive because of the Tri-Strikes that they want to output. And now they just had a shot being like the flexible weapon in their comp, and now I understand why they switched to Golden Nautilus, because Nautilus with Rain is also just a bit more laid back, but they won the match with it, so maybe that's just their playset that they're kind of better with. But this time the Gold Nautilus had Splashdown, so it is a bit more situational and a bit, hard to get value with.
I think it's like the change of Nautilus was a good idea.
True.
Like Cherry Wave, it's just that the map was so much better for what Cherry Wave was trying to do. Cherry Wave was much more able to go forward, to get onto the zone fast. There was only one zone, and like the stacks are so good to put the big bubbler on. It was just going the way of Cherry Wave, because Cherry Wave was much more able to do what they wanted to do right there, constantly getting more and more. And now we're in the tiebreaker. Remember, the team that wins this gets the better seed into Alpha Bracket. Cherry Wave not changing their comp one bit. Meanwhile, FC Bayern Munich, we're back to a flatter map. They're back to the normal Nautilus, and I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, true, especially because Splashdown is also kind of good at off angles and just more elevation. That is not the case on this map, at least for the elevation. It has some good off angles. But yeah, that's just better for V Nautilus there. And we see that both teams are just kind of painting there. The Zimi immediately with the bubbler in zone. And the Nautilus also gets a pick, deciding to jump out because it was kind of risky staying in that position. And also the Minticavitator deploying its bubble and try to get some, poking there. But now the Tri-Strikes come out as well. And there's a Zuka from Munich. And that is going to be really, really strong for at least some painting if they didn't really get a pick. But Cherry Wave still holds on to the zone, which was obsolete right now because they have the zone. But yeah, Munich seems like they're going to be in a better situation now because they have a player advantage.
Yeah, and they are holding the zone pretty well right there. Cherry Wave are pushing their way in, but they're not ending this fight, and they're getting in. Peli able to simply dance around with that Slusher, struggling to find their position. Cherry Wave, they've been able to paint the zone, but they're still struggling to get ahead, forward, in front of the zone, to get more fight and to keep more control. There's two bubblers at the same time. That doesn't stop Bayern Munich from getting a splat.
That is very, very true. And now Munich is so close to getting in the zone, but we see that the Zimi kind of trying to fight its way, just with pain and everything. The Minticavitator needs to go out, but they go down as well. The Zimi being in a really tight spot against the Pencil also decides to jump out. And now another person jumps out. I feel like we're just in jump out mansion here. I don't know. Cherry Wave is still there in the bubbler, just chilling there. And the suction pop almost got a pick of the Zimi, but that was really, really close. Just another Zuka getting the pick on the Minticavitator. And there is the Slosher using the Tri-Strikes and also getting picked off as well.
Yeah, right now, Munich are still fighting for that zone. They have the cooler, but they have to move back because there's a bubbler next to the zone. Cherry Wave, every time they have a bubbler active, they get the zone. That's pretty much it, and FC Bayern Munich needs to get back in there. It needs to get the zone back. They are, bit after bit, getting more points onto the zone, but every time penalty is reapplied, they need to get a bit more.
Oh, Pencil getting a pick on that player on Munich there. Also, Cherry Wave is so close to getting the lead. It's a 4v2 basically, and now the bubbler almost gets shredded by the Tri-Strike, but that was just really close with the placement. But now it's shredded already. There's another Tri-Strike by Cherry Wave. They have the lead, and now we have another Zuka ready by Munich, but the Slosher playing really, really sneaky there and getting a pick, kind of outplayed them there. And now Munich in a good situation of the zone, but the Pencil trying to get a hold of that Neo Splash, trying to deny its special output that they want to do here. But it doesn't really quite work out for them.
Yeah, Munich are still in that fight, are still able to be here, but they are not able to push Cherry Wave enough. And Cherry Wave, with these bubblers, with these weapons, they have so much painting power that they have the ability to simply stay on the map for as long as they want. If FC Bayern Munich doesn't find a way to simply go forward, take all the control, and push Cherry Wave back in their spawn, they'll have a lot of trouble in this game.
Yeah, they'll just have a lot of trouble in general if that Pencil is their painting. And also, Munich has the cooler output now, so it's gonna be a little bit more easy for them to push in. But the time is still really tight here. We only have 45 seconds left on the clock. The Slosher getting an incredible pick there, completely off every angle, over the ledge and everything else. And Cherry Wave holding the zone again, and even they worked off their penalty. Ooh. The Minticavitator getting in, but they didn't even die there. It was so close. And they brought another bubble into the fight, as well as the Tri-Strike. The Minticavitator getting in even more. But the Zimi tried to get a hold of that splatter shot, doesn't make it, and Cherry Wave, that is 2-1 for Cherry Wave.
Cherry Wave took control of that game, not by pushing their opponent away, but by simply staying on the map and not letting FC Bayern Munich do anything to push them out. Cherry Wave were simply, oh, we're going to stay on the zone, we're gonna stay next to the zone, have a big bubbler, we paint the zone, and FC Bayern Munich had no answer to that. They were not able to push in at any moment.
That is so true. These games were so... They were not one-sided at all, because we saw that Munich was a little bit more oppressed in this game.
Yeah.
Or just kind of not in favor in this game. But they were still able to do some great comebacks. Just the penalty was kind of in the way. And just the combination between the tri-strikes and the Minty Cavitator, as we see here in this clip,
yeah,
they were able to get some crazy picks, just because Minty Cavitator has such a good damage output. And that definitely had just kind of a reason in the victory that Cherry Wave had here.
Yeah, incredible game. But Spy, that means it's the end of the group stage. That means a few teams haven't finished their groups right there. We'll see who is able to make it to Alpha, who is able to get their good seeding and get more. We'll see that right after this short break, and we'll be right back with the Alpha bracket.
You gotta say no, you're not frozen. Splatoon Stronghold, a stronghold for competitive Splatoon, providing resources to long-timers and newcomers alike. If you're new to the competitive scene or still figuring out how to join, we have a Getting Started guide and plenty of other resources to help you in your journey. If you are a seasoned veteran, we still have plenty to offer. You can find and join tournaments as well as participate in our Captain Forum and find free agents and teams. Our mission is to make competitive Splatoon easily accessible to everyone. So what are you waiting for? Join the Splatoon Stronghold today!
Hello and welcome everybody. We are now in alpha bracket of this golden paddling pool. We had 26 teams enter this tournament. We are now in the top 14 to know which of these teams will be your paddling pool champion. And we're going to start with Rivals of Aethos 2 going in against Arsenal. Spy, I believe you know a few of these players.
I just know some of the players of Arsenal. I personally don't know any of the players of Rivals of Aether. But yeah, there are some really good mid-level players in Arsenal. I feel like they can do some stuff. I'm gonna expect a Range Blaster. And probably Slosher, because I think some of them play Slosher. And maybe a Julie, but I'm not sure. And probably 52. I just realized one of them probably plays 52. But that's all I can say. Those are just speculations. It's just the theory. Game theory. Okay, I'm sorry.
Also, Spy, this is our second football team of the day.
What?
Arsenal. It's an English team from London.
Oh. Right.
But let's get into a game now.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Let's see what we got. We got Pencil. I thought that was a normal split. That was a Slosher. Okay, we see a Blaster, but I was right with Blaster. At least with the Blaster, not the type of Blaster, but Blaster. And I was right with 52 as well. So yay.
Yeah, both teams have good, well-balanced comp. I feel like it's about what they can do with their explosive players. I really want to know what that Carbon and what that Blaster will be able to do. There could be the playmakers on both teams. Right now, Arsenal are going to take a bit more control with the Splat. They're able to push Rivals a bit away from the zone and are trying to make some points.
That is true. And Rivals just getting the Zuka out there, trying to wreak some havoc, but there was also the Killer Whale 5.1, and now there's another Zuka by Arsenal. And that was just barely a dodge by Hayes. That was some crazy playmaking there. And now Arsenal has some a bit control. It's very neutral right now, and it actually looks like Rivals are gonna kind of take that control back. And yeah, that is definitely the case with the penalty also worked down. Arsenal really in a bad spot here. They kind of tuckered it in zone. They had Cooler just like 10 seconds ago, but that is definitely over now.
Yeah, the Rivals really able to go forward, get to their snipe position, and force Arsenal to use their resources just to get out of their spawn. Right now, it's pretty rough, as Arsenal is trying to get back in there, but there's still a lot of time in the game. As long as they're able to apply some paint onto the zones, they have still a lot of time to come back, but they're struggling to get there right now, and they're losing players in the fight. Rivals simply getting more and more, but the splashdown, able to get 2-3 down onto the Rivals. Arsenal are going to take the zone back. Now it's their turn to go forward and try to establish themselves.
That is true. The 52 being somewhat aggressive, but deciding to back up because they just noticed that it wasn't worth it fighting against like two people when the pencil is aiming right at you. And now we have a Zuka ready, and it's being deployed right now there. Sadly not getting a pick there, almost being taken out by the Crab Tank. And now there's another Zuka by the Rivals. And now the zones are completely even, and we still have about like half of the match left.
Yep, and right now, down onto the Rivals. Arsenal still fighting pretty well, but they need to take the zone. Spy. That Carbon is going to be shut down. Arsenal are able to win their fights, are able to go forward, but they're still struggling to maintain the objective long enough to make good points. There's constantly someone from the rivals to their side to annoy them and keep them from making more points.
Exactly. Now the Carbon trying to fight against like one person, but it's kind of hard with that range disadvantage. Trying to get a hold on the Carbon. Jumping back there, the shot is in mid, just panning a little bit, trying to get aggressive placements there. But there is a Crab Tank almost getting a pick on the shot. There's the wall kind of blocking the Crab shots that they have currently. The Crab sadly did not get a pick there, but it was good to get some more space that they definitely needed.
Yep, and right now the rivals are back in control of the zones. And when the rivals are in control, they're very much in more control. They're pushing Arsenal away as much as they can with their bombs, with their fighting power, and with a lot of paint on the ground in front of the zone. Right now, Arsenal using their well to push the bucket away. Velvet simply dancing around, making sure that you have to look at them. And very nice jump back to their team right now. Rivals are getting back their zones, and penalty was not applied, Spy. They could get the game and they could get the KO here and there.
That is very true. But the Splash Jump is maybe getting a pick. They got a pick on the Carbon, but the Crab Tank still remains on that podium there. But they were pushed off by the Splash Wall. But that is definitely time for Rivals of Aether 2. Aether. I keep saying Aether. I don't know why. Maybe I'm into Fire Emblem. I'm actually not, but who cares?
I don't mind. But yeah, it's a pretty strong first game for the Rivals. I feel like the Rivals were able to take more control when they had control. Arsenal were able to contest the zones, were able to get into the fights, but when they were on top of the zone were not painted their color. Whether the Rivals had more paint on the ground in the end and were able to use that paint to their advantage.
That is true. I just feel like the advantage was generally something that was very important, especially in some of the fights that they had. We just saw the splash on that gave Arsenal a very good advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Crab Tank did get them some space that was necessary to contest the zone, just to get more space in general, just to push in and have more turf covered. And now we see the Crab Tank on the podium being pushed off there.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they even went down themselves. I didn't quite see that. And that was game.
Yeah, but that was only game number 1. And on Umami, you always have the opportunity to paint one of the zone, to get to the side, to surprise your opponent by simply throwing yourself in a flank. Now we're going on to Hagglefish Market, where Arsenal, I feel, will have an easier game as long as they're able to hold their ground.
They just need to hold it with their 2 arms, I guess. God, that was such a... I wanted to make a pun, but it didn't work. But now, guys, we have Hagglefish here. I think that's the first time we've seen Hagglefish in this stream.
Yeah.
But, like, we've seen Umami and Ramen before. So now it's gonna be a kind of new experience. I mean, we've all seen Hagglefish before.
Oh, yeah.
But now we're gonna see how it plays out with the comms. I feel like it's gonna be somewhat funny with the triple splash, and if the player decides to get the custom blaster here again. But maybe they're gonna switch to range blaster. I believe in them.
Yeah. I mean, Hagglefish Market was a classic map mode. Hagglefish Zones especially was classic map mode before the game came out. There was a tournament organized by Nintendo before the game release, and that was one of the maps where we could see players doing like well-coordinated plays and showing what mastery brings. And it's a map that we've seen played at every level of the game, where everybody has something to do, everybody has a plan for Hagglefish, which will allow Arsenal to... we know that they have a plan already, that they have the ability to contest the rivals there. As long as they're able to win a bit more fight, they should put up a good one right now. No change on the side of the rivals, no change on the side of Arsenal. It's going to be decided by the skill only.
That is true. And just with Hagglefish, that was just there was so much different back in the day, and people just played so much differently. But yeah, we see the return of the custom blaster here. I think just the comms in general didn't change at all. That's crazy. Oh, but the custom blaster being picked off, I think it was the Slosher, but I might be mistaken. Maybe it was the Carbon. I'm not sure. But that was crazy. We see the Crab Tank here doing some stuff.
Ooh. And
now
that's
Rivals
a very
of Aether.
strong opening by the Rivals right there, and they use immediately the strikes to simply go forward, and they get an extra pick on the pencil. They have 2 players going forward with the Zuka to add is Rivals simply going in, getting more and more. The splashdown is going to stop the bleeding, but right now Arsenal needs their way back to the zone, and they need it fast.
And that was another pick there. And the 52 just kind of being in zone here. Trying to be aggressive, but without that pain output that they need, it's kind of difficult. And just against the kind of more defensive playstyle, it can be quite difficult to push in again. But Rivals of Aether, oh my god, there was a splashdown. Getting the zone for Arsenal. The custom blaster almost went down, but they actually managed to hold on there. And now there's a Zuka getting a pick. Cooler is also out. And now they're gonna push for it. We already see the shot moving forward. And now it's kind of in a tight situation there for Rivals. And now there are even more specials, like just explosions everywhere.
Yep, and right now it's 2 players down onto Arsenal. The Rivals are simply getting back more control, and the Crab Tank there again allowing the Rivals to get more splats and to get ahead forward in front of the zone. Simply to establish themselves even more. And here comes the Slusher trying to get in. They really want to sneak their way into that spawn so that they can cause more damage. Arsenal though staying pretty solid. They are ready to push back forward. They only need their specials to activate, and here they come with the Whale and the Zuka. They're back to the zone right now. They just need to paint it now.
Yeah, that is true. But it's just really chaotic right now. As we see, the Carbon just kind of being there at the ledges, but that didn't really help them in terms of, you know, zone painting and everything. I mean, Carbon doesn't paint the zone that much anyway, so that was fine, I guess. So Arsenal just got the zone, and damn, that was a Zuka shot. And now that was a Slosher shot. Immediately getting the player there. Oh my god, that may have been an assist, but damn, that was still really well played by the Slosher of Rivals. And now we have more Tri-Strike action. And the pencil is also very close to Cooler, I think. And now the other pencil also has Cooler. And the Carbon has Zuka, which is deployed right now. And oh my god! That... Oh! 2 Zuka picks there, folks.
Yeah, very, very nice Zuka. And right now the Rivals, they have no penalty left. Arsenal needs to push now if they want to stay in this game, if they want to stay in this battling pool right now. They are throwing everything they can, but the Rivals activate the Crab Tank above the zone again. The zone is still neutral. Both teams fighting above it, trying to get the control. Kara is going to get splatted. The zone is purple and Arsenal is still alive, but they have a minute to get the comeback.
And that comeback is gonna be really, 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 really difficult there. But we see that Arsenal has some good control of the zone. They just kind of need to hold it. The Sprinkler is also doing some good painting there. It's very subtle, but it can help still. And we see Azuka there being deployed as well. And now there's a Crab Tank by the Splash of Rivals. But the 52 goes around them and just picks them off. But they're being countered by the Zuka of Rivals. And now it's a 2v2. The pencils are fighting. It's a pencil fight, guys.
Yeah, it's a pencil fight for the zone. Right now, the Rivals know that if they paint the zone, they have a huge, huge option and victory. There's only 30 seconds left into the game, and the Rivals have full control of the map right now. Their Crab Tank is ready. I guess they're going to wait a bit to deny the next push from Arsenal, because Arsenal needs to go in right now.
Oh, Zuka shot. That is very, very important. Oh, but there's a Carbon. And they didn't get picked off by the splashdown, and the Carbon decides to jump out, but it's being interrupted meanwhile. And now there's overtime. We have Tri-Strikes. And now it's gonna be very... Oh, no! They didn't paint over the tri-strikes. And
Hey.
that's how Rivals of Aether 2 got the 2-0.
Yeah. The strikes to get back some control, to get back some paint on the map, allowing the rivals to win this set and move forward in this bracket. We had groups, and this is a single elimination, which means we get to say goodbye to Arsenal. They fought well, but Rivals were simply showing their ability to take control of the whole map there.
True. Like, holy damn. I don't even know what to say, because it was really, really looking like Arsenal was gonna maybe flip that game around, but that was just a really unfortunate moment that
Yep.
they had in that situation. That was just unlucky, as they say.
Yeah, a bit unlucky, but hey, that's the game. At some point where when it's a golden paddling pool, you know that top teams and great players are going to bring their A game. That's exactly what Rivals of Aether, what the Rivals did right there, showing what they can do. They're going to get to round number 2, and so will we, right after this very short break.
Yes. Okay, guys, short interception. It's gonna be a bit more time before we go on to the next set, so we're gonna have a switch of casters because I'm gonna go on hiatus for another 3 months. And instead of me, you're gonna hear a Dory for the rest of the stream, but Pat is still gonna be here to cast you with his soothing voice. And before that, I'm just gonna go announce where you can find me, guys, which is on Twitter at DrSpyLOL, where it's just mostly discuss like Splatoon stuff or maybe Persona, I don't know. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to share with you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Spy. It's always a pleasure to cast with you. I hope we get to see you again in the future because yeah, it's always
Hopefully.
a pleasure to have your funny voice around here. And thank you so much. And everybody, you can give a good welcome to Dory to the stream. Hi, Dory.
Hi, this is my first time on Paddling Pool. I hope I'll do a good job. But yes, I'm really excited. I've casted with Pat a lot, both at LANs and for various online tournaments. So this should be a walk in the park.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's watch all of this game. And I believe we have our next set, ready, which should be Moi versus Asura.
Versus Arsenal again?
Versus
Or-
Asura? No, that's Asura.
Okay. Well, it still says Arsenal on stream. There we go. Great. Fantastic. Familiar map modes again.
Mhm.
There we go. Okay, Manta Maria. Which is a little bit more fun, I think. But do you know what the players are going to run? Have you seen these players do what they do?
I mean, these players, I've seen a few play around. Overall, Moi has been around in the previous Dapple Productions tournament, showing what they can do. But it's a pickup, players come and go, and they have a lot of weapons in their pockets, ready to attack. I'm really interested to see what teams are going to do on Manta Maria zones. It's not a map mode that you see that often outside of zones only tournament. And that's why I love zones only tournament. You get to see these maps. Manta Maria, I love double zones map because they bring a whole different dynamic to the whole mode. They keep like the pleasure of playing splat zones with extra spice into it, and we'll see how these teams are able. I feel like on Manta, your ability to come back, to jump back in, is going to be incredibly important.
Yeah, the double zone in Manta Maria is very interesting because you can hold control of both from the bunker area on your side, but also when retreating, sometimes it's really it's much more useful to try to keep someone on the right side of mid. Some people call that the deck. I've heard that as a call out sometimes. The right deck is where you try to maintain control. You can always swim back via your own ramp, and the main difference I think between Splatoon 2 and 3 is the additional space behind the bunker in that little corridor, which is much larger now, and therefore makes it easier to push back in. It's no longer that much of a choke point on the way back in if the enemy is there. The two zones are a very interesting gimmick, and I think it really works in this format because the map hasn't changed much from Splatoon 2, and it kind of is a damning point because Splatoon 3 maps are designed in such a way that even a kind of mid-tier Splatoon 2 map like Manta Maria is now firmly one of the more fun double zones maps to play. We don't have very much of these. The mast in the middle is is a big thing you can play around. You can climb up it, you can use the grates, you can try to take the enemy bunker, or you can jump straight across the cut on the right side. There's so many ways to come in, and with Splatoon 3's much faster gameplay, we can see both teams take a tilt at each other throughout. I think that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's really about how you're able to play, and that's kind of these strong maps that decide a lot of. You have to learn how you play around that map, how you play above these grades. There's elevation, there's ways to sneak in, lots of ways to sneak in, and these two teams will decide a lot what they can do that way.
Yeah, I think range, while range is such an overwhelming factor in so many Splatoon 3 maps. You park a backline on the tent in Hagglefish, and it kind of determines the game. But because the mast is so large, there's verticality involved in Manta Maria. Even if you have something like an E-liter, it no longer has the kind of super oppressive force it has on more of these Splatoon 3 maps, and therefore it encourages. I feel like it encourages players who like kind of more ratty play styles to go around and try to do things that they would otherwise not be able to do in full view of the enemy E-liter or Hydra Splatling or anything like that, or edit. And you know, we always talk about pencil gameplay and cooler, but pencil's not, you know, it's not quite as crazy here to fight against. Yeah,
and it's a map that's so good for Splatlings, given the grades, given like the bonus that you get for having run speed up. It's a map that can benefit a lot of different weapons, and I feel like this is the kind of map where you'd want to bring the heavy edits instead of a pencil very, very often, especially if you have one of these teams that like to run forward and be extremely aggro, as we've seen a lot in the meta lately.
Yeah, I think it's actually just one of the more fun maps. The other modes sometimes just get a look in as well, when tournament organizers want to shake up their little bag of tricks. I think we've sometimes seen some kind of more far out choices, but Manta is a really solid map. It's going to be fun. It allows teamwork, it allows pinching, it allows flanks, and even though Hagglefish has been reworked so that the flank routes are a little larger and there's a little bit more viability in using them. You know, if you put a massive pole in the middle of Hagglefish, it kind of becomes Manta Maria. So maybe in a future update.
I'm not so sure about this analysis, Dory.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see more Hagglefish regardless, right? We're going to see game 2. And I always want to say I like this map, and then I play it for an entire rotation and it gets quite samey. You kind of look at the enemy comps as you go in, and it fully determines how you're going to be able to play the rest of the game and what you're able to do. So we had a Haggle game just now, which kind of played out as more or less as expected. So it's up to these players to try to give us a little bit more entertainment in that regard, I think.
Okay, well, their job is not to entertain us. Their job is to fight. Let's see how they do that right away. It is time to watch the games. On one side, I see... Oh, is that a brush? I love a good brush.
That's such a fun weapon to play on this map. You can do so many silly things with brush. Just run around, distract the opponent, try to draw fire while your teammates close in. And as expected, each team tries to take their right zone. Nothing particularly special here. Pencil on grates, all as expected.
Yep.
First pick goes to Azura, sorry.
Yeah, but it's a red pencil, Dory, right there. And Moi are holding their own pretty strongly right there. Yeti, with the zap, is going to push forward, maintain that pressure. Asura was forced to use their crab tank very far away from the zone right there. It's going to cause them, as they're struggling to get to the paint. They're not enough to apply penalty, as Moa is simply holding more and more control 2 down onto Asura, and Asura are stuck onto their zone, trying to paint it, trying to keep themselves onto the map, but Guam, with the heavy edit, able to get it.
That was a slightly scary moment just now when the 52 flanked around and tried to pinch Azura in their own right zone.
Ooh.
But that's a wipeout. That's gonna be hard to come back from once once everyone gets set up. That's a lot of firepower on Mock's side.
Dory, penalty was not applied.
Yeah, they've
Asura
not actually
have
managed
no
to
time
capture more than
to
one
get
zone.
in.
They
They
just
need
have
to
to
go
go
in
now.
now.
They are actually 2 up. I'm not sure if. Well, I feel like first thing they didn't really manage to hold their own zone throughout, and now with that is a good capture. That is what they need to put penalty, kind of in the VC. They have to discuss what they can do now. They have
Yeah.
to settle down, try to play against these really fast moving players. And one by one they go back in, but they haven't managed to clear everyone out. Stamper
well,
here is such a menace.
Yeah, so much pressure by Moi again. They're making quick work of their penalty. There's not much penalty left. The brush is called out, and
That
that's
is a
another
wipeout.
wipeout. And
Surely
again,
that is game. That has to be game now.
that's not. I mean, Asura needs to throw themselves forward, get in there, and
No.
do whatever they can to get in. It's going to be an uphill battle, and Moi locking things down as they know how to do. Are going to get game number
Lord.
1.
Yeah, when you play against a team like Moi and a player as good as Hashi is on that pencil, you really have to kind of you have to discuss this. You have to use that ready up time to specifically discuss what you're going to do to that player. Because I don't know if Hashi died at all in that game. I didn't just sat on the bunker, and always there were jumps in. I know the brush tried to rush Hashi down a few times, and it was a really brave pick on Azura's part, but it didn't seem to work out as well, and they went in alone a lot of the time, just as you just saw in the replay. They probably weren't as effective as they would have liked to be.
Yeah, you were talking about it while we were during the break. The power of range on this map is incredible, and a Hashi with a pencil in their hand is such a danger. Can keep their position and get more and more and more. That's a well-deserved 1-0 by Moi, and we're going on to another map where range is king. It's going to be Hagglefish. I feel like Asura, if they don't bring a pencil of their own, they need the tools to break the distance, to get in, and to force Moi and to force Hashi to move away.
Yeah, with a that Hashi's just going to be on the tent, and once more get set up, Hashi's going to be in mid. The red pencil was such an interesting choice. I feel like they probably thought they did not need the cooler, and they were right about that.
They had the cooler.
Kind of just
They had
now.
the cooler.
Oh yeah, of
Screen
course, yes,
cooler.
they had a zap, yes. But they didn't need someone to backline cooler for them, which is quite nice, I think. I wonder if we'll see the red pencil again. Maybe they might feel really confident against Azura, and then the red pencil can just help put down. But that Hashi is going to move up to mid and stand on that little chunk in the middle. And what are they going to do against Hashi in mid? They're going to have to push up properly. A team like Moi is so organized. Let's see if there are any changes on Azura's side.
Yeah, well, no change on the side of Moi. Azura are
Red pencil.
going with a blue pencil.
Blue
to
pencil.
counter
Riveting
the
pencil
red.
gameplay. Fantastic, guys.
And
the
yeah, but I mean,
brush.
it's still die. Yeah, the brush is still here.
brush
The
is still
brush,
here. That is brave.
yeah, brush on this map is incredibly hard, much harder
That is
than
hard.
on Manta Maria.
The slosher is already down. The brush actually gets a pick, and though the slosher is down, that actually that means that they don't have strikes, right? They're gonna have to take a little longer to set up, but specials are finally coming online. 2 down on the side of Azura. Let's just see whether they can maintain that presence in their court as more kind of slowly but surely pushes up.
Yeah. Moi simply holding the zone right now. They have so much control, and they managed to get the splat onto the opponent pencil and the brush right now. Asura, they need to wait for the rest of their team before they can get any push, as Moi is getting more and more points, Tori.
Yeah, this is what you kind of expect to see. Hashi's here, going to be just dancing around that court, and the rest of the teams is allowed to just go in and have fun, it seems. The strikes come online. Ooh, very, very nice stacking of specials. That was a really, really good double pick. They need to put some ink on the zone, or they're not going to get. That's a dead player jump. Oh.
Yeah,
Ouch.
and it's not stopping right now. All of Moa are going forward. Look at that Gao in there dancing around, making sure that Asura has no way in. And with just a few ticks on the zone,
They
that's
have to
going
go
to be
now.
game. No, they had
That's
to go
game.
earlier.
No, yeah, yeah. Neither time. In the earlier game, they managed to capture both zones and put, just give themselves a breather for about 5 seconds. But in this one, because it's such an open map, they don't really have anywhere to hide. On the
Yep.
way in, they just have to drop. You have to drop into the waiting enemy, and the enemy were effective enough to just keep getting those picks. The Gal went in. Constantly there was a cooler available and a jump to Hashi, and Azura just simply could not put up with that pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Moa simply not stopping. And both teams had very similar plans. It's just that Moa had incredible execution. They're able to keep themselves on the map, getting more and more splats. And now they get the set.
Very clean.
This was the final best of 3 of the tournament, though. Now we're getting into best of 5s. We'll have more and more games between the 4 best teams in this tournament that are now qualified. We'll be watching semifinals right after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Cool. Welcome back, everyone. While we go into the semi-finals, we have Pizza Parlor versus 0077. 0077 is a name that may be familiar to you if you watch a lot of competitive Splatoon. They played some majors a while ago. Even though they're essentially a pickup group, they are a force to be reckoned with. Pizza Parlor has also very, very strong players and are seeded very highly. I think probably I'd say that 0077 are the surprise seed, just according to seeding, but they're all very good. So I'm really excited to see these two teams of players run up against each other. How about you, Pat?
I am ecstatic to see all of these players come back to play more paddling pool, and that's the power of a gold paddling pool. You have, I mean, this is the longest running tournament series in Splatoon history. We're almost at 6 years, and we're still running strong. Every week you have more paddling pool, and of course the gold one gives you extra credit, gives you a better Sendu badge, and it's all zones. It's what these soft players want to play. It's where they want to show that they're better than their opponent, and we'll see how Pizza Parlor and Numbers are going to be able to do against each other. On the side of Pizza Parlor, we have some of the best players in the scene, and 007, I mean, they're great, they're incredibly good, but I mean, Volty just is so scary to me. Volty and Goss on the same team is just, you have to brace for impact.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Volty pop off on that carbon roller. It's such a good weapon on this map, just sharking around the ledges under the tent, and then you have that Zuka, of course, and then we see here the Mint Decavitator on the side of 0077, and that's also a very interesting pick. Now that the bubble paints more, it's really nice to see them put it there, and they might cap zone, maybe.
Yeah,
there we go. It's neutralized. 2 down though.
Yeah, 2 down. Pizza Parlor are going to get back the control. One thing we need to talk about, Dory, is the H3 Nozzle Nose.
True, that is a wild pick.
Who brings an H3 Nozzle Nose to top level Splatoon?
That is I kind of nearly blocked that out of my mind. I thought
what is this, early Splatoon 2?
Surely that. But you see, they have whatever they bring. They finally captured the zone, and I think they're now starting to get some breather. There is someone sharking behind from Pizza Parlor. Finally gets taken out, and 0077 get just a moment to gather their wits together and look forward at Pizza Parlor coming back in.
Yeah, right now Numbers are able to get the splats, are able to get a lot of control and preparing their specials. It's 2 vs 2 right now, and Pizza Parlor, who are using their strike, trying to paint this zone, trying to go in. The lead is about to flip, but Pizza Parlor is on the zone, able to apply penalty, hold their lead strong, and now Numbers are back to the first, back to what they were trying to do, which is get back in there, trying to stop Volty from running in, despite Volty being marked. Volty is still simply running forward.
Volty just stays alive, you know? That's the difference. It's so interesting to watch how fast just top-level Splatoon players react whenever they just have a numbers advantage. They go straight in, they force the issue. You know, just now when 0077 managed to pick Volty off, that actually made such a difference because of the one fewer special that Pizza Parlor got to use on the way in. And this fight is such an even fight. Both teams are ready and they know each other so well. All of these players are familiar with each other, undoubtedly, so they know what each other is capable of. And they're just trading it out in mid. But 0077 really have to put paint on the zone because that penalty is ticking down from Pizza Parlor.
Yeah, the Pizza is ready to get the zone back, and there isn't that much penalty left, Dory, right now. With that extra splat that they're looking to get, okay, they're able to get the mint, and they're still in control of the zone with 2 down onto the numbers. Pizza Parlor is looking to get good points right there. The strikes are not enough to sleep the zone.
Yeah,
and all of
even though
Pizza Parlor
are 2 down. Fantastic jump out. Even though they're 2 down, they took a while to neutralize the zone. That's just precious seconds on the clock that you really, really don't have time to spare against a team like Pizza Parlor, made up of real top level Splatoon players.
Yep.
And they're back in again. Look at that.
Yeah,
Really
and
exciting gameplay.
it's not stopping. Pizza numbers were able to paint the zone enough to apply penalty, but Pizza Parlor are still around the zone, getting more and more, looking to delay the next attack from the numbers.
Oh, fantastic pick from the Zuka shot. Volti obviously knows all the lines of sight, and this is one of the favorite spots for a Carbon Roller. They seem to be struggling to get in. There's less than a minute left, and the crab isn't aimed at the zone. You know, I feel like they kind of are scrambling. They're scrambling. They need to, fantastic picks. There we go.
Yeah, and the big bubbler onto the zone to secure things. Right now, the numbers know what they need to do. There's less than 30 seconds in the game, but it's just a decapitator right now. Pizza Parlor getting in, getting more and more, painting the zone for
This is going to be
victory
hard.
right now. If they apply penalty, numbers has such an uphill battle now.
Yeah, Volti getting that double was huge for Pizza Parlor. It just meant that everyone took so long. The wipeout, the cherry on the cake. Well,
Yep.
the pineapple on the pizza, I guess.
Okay. Is that your thing, I guess?
And a clean win for Pizza Parlor in game 1 of the best of 5.
I mean, that's a rough thing. If you bring an H3, and that H3 was putting the cooler down, but was not painting as fast as the pencil, was not moving as fast as the other shooters, was simply a tiny bit behind a lot of the time, allowing John Ryan, that's replays from a different set, from a different game. Okay. It's the same map, but it's not a good replays, John Ryan.
Fantastic game. We go back to Humpback. Humpback
Yeah.
Zones is another one of those you don't see in almost tournaments. So this is very interesting because, again, gameplay here is so different. You don't have Stingray anymore, but you have Trizuka, and with Volti doing this sort of thing,
Yeah.
it's basically the same.
I mean, this is a map for the Carbon Roller, and this is a map for rollers and slushers. Right there, it's no mystery that Pizza Parlor put that in their list to go in, because that's the kind of map where they know they will get an edge. They know they will get forward. It's also a huge map where you have so many ways to go around your opponent, and that's another reason why the Zuka is so good on it, because you have so much reach with it. You can splat someone across the map, which can be so useful here, where the map is so enormous.
Yeah, the map is huge. It's kind of quite interesting that you have got two windows to peek into. We are going straight in. I think these players are kind of quite confident. Well, they have to be confident in their picks. We see Sloshers as expected, Volti on the Carbon Roller as expected. Everything, the H3 remains. Let's see if that makes a difference.
Yeah. One thing that the H3 is very good for is it has these point sensors. These point sensors can call out the Carbon and the Slosher to avoid them getting the splat, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
first
They
pick.
get splat after splat, and they get control over the zone right there.
Yeah, 3 strikes are also make it so easy to cap zone. You can almost always cap zone from basically anywhere as long as you can throw the strike onto the zone. 0077 kind of playing behind it, just trying to poke in and see if Pizza Parlor are going to make any mistakes. But look at that. That is really, really clean. That's 3 down on 0077, and everyone's just hunting for the end parries, and that's a delayed wipe.
Yep, Pizza Parlor getting more and more, but the Crab Tank should allow the numbers to get more control, to get a bit more forward right there. And right now, it's like they only neutralized the zone, though. They need to paint it full, and they lack that fast painting weapon. Thankfully, they had a numbers advantage, which allowed them to get control over the zone.
Yeah, that's you have to think about the fact that you are going to play into 2 sets of strikes. That has to be so frustrating. You know, you always have to have someone near the zone ready to paint over strikes. Ready to paint over 2 strikes? You have to think about the fact that Pizza Parlor can apply penalty basically any time they want.
Yeah.
Or if the strikes might come up as well. And that's such a stressful thing to have to deal with, just timing your specials against Pizza Parlor, trying to get those picks as well. It's always easier to... They only managed to cap the zone because they got 2 down on Pizza Parlor, and they really, really have to keep doing that if they want to get them.
Oh, but everybody's falling down right now. It's just the Slusher versus the
1v1.
H3. The strikes are going on the zone. They're not enough to paint. Numbers keep control of the zone. Penalty was not applied, and Numbers are going to get the lead. We're only halfway through the game, but Numbers right now, if they deny the next push, they get the game, Dory.
Yeah, this is actually, I think, the first time Pizza Parlor are being forced to do something. They don't look comfortable anymore. 6 strikes hitting the map at the same time from both teams. And the zone flips to Pizza Parlor. We get a huge penalty, and 0077 are wiped out.
And right now, Numbers know that they have the lead, but there's still 2 minutes in the game, and they need to push forward. They need to prepare something big. They're still waiting on their strikes to be ready as Pizza Parlor is... Oh, wait! Both teams are still fighting for the zone. But Numbers is getting a good victory right there. They still have... Oh yeah, they're able to apply penalty. That is huge.
Volty gets caught in the middle of a captured zone and still manages to make it out. Takes the crab down. What a play.
And Volty getting another one.
Oh,
getting
Volty just going in.
Yeah. And there's the follow through with the splash, and the Slusher are getting in there to force some more weight. Pizza Parlor on their way to get the lead back. They are so close to getting it. Here comes the strike. If these strikes are not enough to paint the zone, it's going to be very rough for the Numbers.
Pizza Parlor has been 1 down for a while now. It's up to 0077. Oh, they don't get that advantage. There's only one player up at the end of that fight, and I don't know if they can manage to cap the zone. They have to. They need to do this. 3 down. A wipeout on Pizza Parlor. That is huge for 0077. Look at them taking positions extremely quickly, and they know that they need to go into Pizza Parlor Street if they want to try to buy as much time as possible.
Yeah, the Numbers right now are in an incredibly sweet spot. Simply by 2 points, keeping that lead allows them to breathe a lot. And right now they're going in, getting for the splats and getting more and more and more. Aka simply getting so much thanks to these Emperor Julies right there. Pizza Parlor needs to flip the zone, and they need to do it now.
2 sets of strikes, like I said, they did not come at the same time, but it was still enough for Pizza Parlor to get the zone. There's 10 seconds left in the game. It's so nervous. Everyone, you know, they're just trying to stay alive in these massive last team fight. Let's see what both teams are capable of. That's 2 down, 3 down on Pizza Parlor. 1-1. They tied up the set there with the last specials.
Yeah, and a very, very nice comeback, and really take off control by the numbers right there, showing us what they're able to do, Dory. And as we can see right there, I mean, Pizza Parlor, as you said, they had the tools to flip the zone whenever they wanted thanks to the double strikes. But in the end, the numbers were able to set themselves on the map. And the second they were able to punish Volty, the second they were able to set themselves, have the crab tank get the splats, they really had the opportunity to simply run in, and Aka with the Emperor Julius doing that job of going in, getting the splats, allowing them to get more and more points.
Yeah. Humpback has such a reputation of, there's nothing like a safe lead on Humpback. And this game is such an example of that. In lower level Splatoons, sometimes we see teams stagger and therefore are unable to fight as effectively as they want. And in this case, the only thing that was really staggered was the special use from Pizza Parlor, because they kept just not being able to use their specials as effectively as they wanted, and that actually just made the difference. It's just thickness of a hair that separates these two teams in this riveting. This is such good gameplay. I'm really excited to see what comes next on Barnacle.
Yeah. And Barnacle is going to show us the power of the crab tank even more. The numbers had that at the ready. It was so powerful onto Humpback Pump Track, but on Barnacle, I think it's probably the best map for the crab. Teams didn't change. I don't think they changed weapon. They want to get right in the game right now. There was no wait time, Dory.
He read it up so fast. We go straight in, and it looks like pretty much the same thing. The crab stamper. There we go. That's an interesting one.
Hey.
Exciting gameplay to come.
Hey, when you have a game plan that you believe in, when you have weapons that you know how to use, you want to get in the game and you want to show that it's working right there. Volty getting in, only getting a trade right there. All of the numbers are going back onto the zone and making their way forward. That splashdown is going to get so much. The numbers get first control with a wipeout.
Yeah, the numbers. You talked about H3 being a slightly slower weapon just now, but the H3 still put the cooler down at 14 seconds. That's how effective these players know their weapons, and this is such a lockout heavy map. You see the specials coming out already, but there's always someone from 0077 painting the zone. Pizza Parlor can't really come in yet. They have to drop onto the numbers, get the picks, 3 down, and you know that the zone is going to flip now.
Yeah, the zone's gonna flip. Aka with the Emperor is simply going to the side, forcing Pizza Parlor to look back before going forward. That's allowing the rest of the numbers to... They can get back in and deny a full control onto Pizza Parlor. Pizza Parlor has been struggling on this map to get any control as Aka is punished in the splashdown. The Parlor get the strikes onto the zone, and now they get good control with 2 down onto the numbers.
Yeah, 3 down now. They're slowly pushing Aka back again. That splashdown did not get anyone, and that was the difference they needed, because then their strikes players stayed alive and allowed them to put penalty on. These two teams are chipping at each other bit by bit. They don't have very long periods of hold yet, so it's just bits of points, bits of penalty, a very, very back and forth game. Which is not normally how it happens on this map. So this is great gameplay to watch.
These 8 players, they always know how to come back. They always know how to push. It's like there's constantly a bomb or a special at the ready to get their way forward. Pizza Parlor, though, struggling to push the numbers away, and Aka activating the splashdown on landing right there. Getting a bit more space for the numbers. Pizza Parlor are painting, are getting the splats, are punishing the crab. Volty getting so much right there and almost getting the H3 but getting punished. That's still going to be lead for Pizza Parlor.
That was such an exciting little play from Volty. With this sort of thing, you just need to just keep pushing Volty at the enemy, and sooner or later, if they don't play perfectly, it's going to work. There's no penalty yet. They're still trading people over the zone. The strikes come out, and finally, there is penalty. But
Dory, I
Let's
think
switch
you're
it back
watching
and
the
forth.
stream on Twitch. You should watch the stream
Oh,
on
watch it.
Discord.
sorry, wrong screen.
Yeah, you're
Ah.
late. Anyways, Volty is still shocking around. He's going to get punished by the slusher right there, but Pizza Parlor still has incredibly good control right and are forcing the numbers to think twice. And now Aka, we know how powerful Aka can be, but Aka needs a way in right now. Pizza Parlor has such a good hold onto the zone. The splashdown is
Beat down.
enough. Oh, wait!
Good flip.
How did they get in?
So Aka went in and got a pick with the splashdown, and that was enough for them to pinch the remaining players. That's going to be a nice period of hold. Now Volty does not manage to get that pick, even though the burst bomb and that swing seem to both connect. There's penalties on both sides. I think this is going to be a really fun final minute because someone falls into the water.
And Tacticular doesn't activate if you fall in the water. That's going to cost them right now with less than a minute left. Pizza Parlor, they know that all they need to do is chain strikes onto the zones. Numbers need not only to get the zone, they need to get forward. They need to push Pizza Parlor away.
2 down on 0077. That feels like they have to gather their resources for one final push into Pizza Parlor, who are now very happy to start camping them out.
Yep, right now the numbers need to get in just 10 ticks onto the zone. They need
The
to
strikes
paint
come out.
right
Are these
now.
GG strikes? Are these enough? Are they going to be
Ooh.
enough? They have to paint. Volty tries to come and distract them. They lose players, but there's still 2 people on zone. They have to put ink on the zone. That's the most important thing. They've got no time to go for picks, and that's game.
Yeah, that's game for Pizza Parlor. Numbers were so close to getting that zone back, and they had so many good pushes. They were in that fight all the time, and I mean, Pizza Parlor were not able to push them completely away from the zone. It's really that objective control that they were able to keep that allowed them to stay on top of things and get splat after splat and more points in the end.
Yeah, you have to stay laser focused in games like these. Aka went in, opened the game up for 0077, but they couldn't quite capitalize, and then they allowed Pizza Parlor to come in and take space again, and finally they all went down right at the end and couldn't get all 4 players up to paint the zone, even though they were so close to capturing and forcing overtime. So this brings the set to 2-1 to Pizza Parlor. This could be game if they're not careful.
Hey, it's best of 5, which means it's do or die for the numbers. Now we are going on to Makomat, another huge ledge map. And I mean, earlier we said this was good for Pizza Parlor on Humpback Pump Track. Numbers, they showed that they are ready to fight on there, that they are able to answer the call and deny what Pizza Parlor wants to do. It's just a matter of keeping Volty marked at all time.
At all times, yeah.
And making sure that there's 2 players to shoot in Volty's direction.
Yeah, we've seen several times, many times over the years in top majors what Volty is capable of on this map once completely unleashed upon an unsuspecting opponent. The H3 with the point sensors has been really effective in kind of not even holding Pizza Parlor back. They just make Pizza Parlor wait a little, and it's always the difference of a few seconds, 3 seconds here, 5 seconds here, when you get the right player marked, and that buys them time. It's kept them in the game. It was what kept them alive in Humpback Pump Track, and it nearly won them this game too. But now we go to Pizza Parlor's, one of Pizza Parlor's great strengths, I think, and it's up to them to be really organized about this and never take their eyes off zone.
Yep, we'll see how these teams are able to do. No change in comp on one side and no change on the other. Again, it's going to be decided by the player. We'll see how numbers are able to do. They need to do it there on what could be probably Pizza Parlor's best map, honestly.
Yeah, look at how fast that Kulak comes out. That was 11 seconds. How are you doing this? Volti going straight in already, as we promised. The first hold goes to Pizza Parlor. The first deaths also go to Pizza Parlor. And the teams are now at each other's throats, as we expected.
Yeah, and right now, numbers are activating, the crab are going in, they know that they need to bring the answer, they're able to apply penalty, take the zone, but they still need to take Pizza Parlor out. Pizza Parlor is still around the zone, ready to fight. And right now, both teams are still, we're back to the first, like, neutral, it feels.
Yeah, team fights on this map can feel like they take forever. Ooh, that was an internet moment, surely. But that's 3 down on 0077. Pizza Parlor moving straight up. That's one team fight won, and that's such a major point because team fights in mid or neutral can feel like such protracted, just battles of attrition. You just have to keep going and hope someone makes a mistake first, and it isn't you, but. They get picked up by strikes like this on 0077, and it's just such a difference. That's that hair of a difference, and Volti is in.
Yeah, Volti getting the pick, going away. They know. Okay, you're gonna. Oh, what?
Oh, there's two. That's two.
That's huge. And
That's
right
3.
now, numbers they know that they have to pay attention to every ledge because Volti is everywhere. It doesn't matter.
They have
Just
to go now. They have 3
ticks.
points.
And it's
And they
not
can't
enough.
neutralize. Oh my god. That
What?
made all the difference.
Yeah, what a game by Pizza
What a
Parlor
game.
right there.
Yeah, that was they must have been running high, you know. They won that tense fight in Barnacle and they were like, nah, we can't do this. We're just going in and winning the game. We're good enough, we know this. And that's 3-1 to Pizza Parlor and they move on to the finals.
Yep, they are qualified for the finals. We will see them. Their opponent is not decided there yet. So Crown is a 1-0 against Moi. So we are not sure who is going to be the other finalist. But for now, Pizza Parlor, I mean, they just showed us why they were scene number 1, Dory. They just absolutely dominating that game, getting every pick, getting every fight, and keeping control over the zone. Even when numbers had a huge push onto the zone, able to flip it, Pizza Parlor was still around the zone and answered with pretty much a wipeout right after to seal the deal.
That was so fast. You know that they probably looked at the map list and went, you know what? That's where we win. That's where we win.
Sorry,
we don't have to play game 5.
That's not a map list. Players
No.
choose the maps. That's why they knew that was
No,
coming.
they saw the list come out, right? Like they know that this is the generated set for the game, and they know we can win in game 4. That's it. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's such a strong showing. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break. Oh, we're going to
nice.
try to hop in onto Moi versus Crown to see if we can join them. We'll take a short break so we can join the lobby. Don't go anywhere. And we are back in already. Teams are ready and they are 1-1 against each other. We saw Moi earlier showing us how good they can be. Crown, they took a game off of Moi. That's how good they are. And I believe some of his players won the last golden banding pool. You and Phoenix no, Mikey and Phoenix were Golden Paddling Pool reigning champions. So we'll see them. They're here to defend their crown, and we'll see how they're able to do. And Dory, look at what map we're going to.
It's the same thing, but the difference is what is once a best of 5 is now a best of 3. The players really, any win here is just going to be so good for morale. We're going to see a rerun of Splat Zones of Marco Mart. Very different comps now. No H3, so slightly less unpredictable gameplay, I think. But I don't know what these players are going to do. They know this map inside out. They know each other's gameplay inside out as well, and it remains to be seen. We load right in.
Yeah. And we'll see how these teams are able to do right there. Actually bringing back the red pencil, that's been working for them so far. On the side of Crown, we see the custom blaster, not the range blaster, the custom blaster for more splashdown. We've seen good splashdowns today, so let's hope we see more.
Yeah, splashdown is surprisingly effective. I think as long as you manage to catch someone unawares, that is certainly a confirmed pick. Coolers out, everyone rushing at zone, 2 down on the side of Moa, 3 down. And Crown pour forward. There's already the Slosher making the flank on the right, 2 on the left. They know that they need to give Moa no breathing space. But unfortunately, everyone is slowly coming back in. The rain is an interesting one as well.
Yeah, that was a huge opening by Crown. They still have control over the zone despite Moa being able to come back onto mid. But Nico getting the pick right there. And another one to seal.
Well spotted.
Oh, it's not stopping. Moa is stuck back into their spawn as that Slasher is simply going in there, getting more and more. Crown is holding strong. Only 30 ticks left on the zone.
They have to at least neutralize. This rain was thrown so far back, it barely painted any of the zone. And 1 down on Crown. This might be the moment. They've managed to neutralize, but there's 2 down on Moa, and I think, honestly, this might be game.
I mean, it looks so strong right now. Moa has no way in, and Crown is going to get game number 3. They are up 2-1, and they are 1 game away from the finals.
That was such a dominant showing. Once they got that 3 down, they were in, and Moa had no space with the Slosher constantly coming around the right side. That was such a strong showing. 2-1 for Crown. That's match point.
Yeah. I mean, Moa almost got to the zone. Moa almost got to apply penalty, but instead of applying penalty, they lost their players. They lost their frontliners, and they allowed Crown to simply get in, get more, and Crown, like, riding on that momentum now, can feel pretty good about themselves going on to Crab Leg Capital, a map where I guess we're going to see the backlines play an incredibly important role, but also the blaster for Crown could spell absolute doom for Moa.
Yeah, this one is an interesting one. The blasters are so strong here. They have so much kind of little corners they can hide in and get picks from. But pencils are great. You know that's going to be very oppressive. Crableg Capital, I think there were fans of it at the start, and people played it a lot in tournament, and it fell out of fashion. But it's nice to see Crableg zones again in a tournament like this. I do like Crableg a lot, and I think there's very fun areas of gameplay. We don't have a weapon that rats as hard as a carbon roller in the lineup, in the weapon pools of these two teams, but the little pits that people fight in, that is such a nice kind of interesting thing to flank from, because you can use both the wall, you can throw things from the pit. There's so much areas to just allow yourself to stay alive. And the middle of the map, that is an insane team fight. That is always just goes so hard if the teams are up to it. And I think what we've seen, it's up to Moa to bring the aggression now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They need to take control, and he who controls the grades controls the galaxy on here. It's very much, you have to put yourself on top of there. You have to take that control, and the team that's able to put themselves there and deny the other team the push will be able to keep that control. On one side, we see Hashi switching to the blue pencil this time, allowing their teammate to get onto more aggro shooters and get more fights, I guess.
Yeah, we have a Rapid Blaster on the other side as well, Rapid Pro. And that is going to be interesting. Again, no more Custom Blaster, but Inkjet is so far on this map. So, first control goes to Moa. First picks go around, 3 down on Crown.
That's
They're
huge.
angry, these guys. They want the win here.
Yeah, and they get a lot right there. It's on Crown to really get back in there, get some control, and with the 2 down, Moi is simply staying
that's a
in
wipeout.
there and getting more and more and more.
Yeah, we saw that the zone is so big that the strikes couldn't even neutralize that. The wipeout is going to be they have just one opportunity, Pat. They have to get the picks, they have to go in, and the cooler's out, and the fight begins.
Yeah, I mean, it's the power. Oh, look at that. Hashi stepped up on these grades and is dominating everything,
nice.
but everybody else is dead.
Down.
Right now, Crown going in there and almost able to paint, but everybody from Moi was able to jump back in to paint the zone and get the few extra ticks in there to win the game. We are going to a game number 5, Dory.
That was so fast. Moore had 3 players down, and I don't think the acknowledgement, the realization didn't go through the VC fast enough for the players to go paint, and then they came in and painted, and that was game. My goodness, a strong recovery from Moore. It is now a best of 1 with the set tied up at 2-2.
One game, the winner goes to the finals to fight Pizza Parlor. The losers go home without anything. That is incredible right now, and I mean, both of these teams have shown how dominant they can be when they are comfortable, when they are in their position, and when they play the game that they want to play. Both of these teams are able to deny, both of these teams are able to get all the splats. And now it's going to be decided by another huge classic of this game and of this series, honestly.
Yeah, after the rework, Mahi Zones has become, I think, quite a favorite. It's very interesting to play on because the snipe area is obviously what you think it is, but then there's this thing in the middle that just you have to play around it. Right? It's like the mast we have on Manta Maria. It's like the Wahoo pole, and then we have a sign here. And the teams, this map, when it gets bigger, is when the actual fight starts, I think.
Yeah. And right now, Moi has switched back to the red pencil and Zap combo, but it looks like Crown are pushing them away. There's the splats onto them. They need to move back, keep themselves alive, but the snipe onto Hashi by T is huge right there. Crown is strong.
This whole segment of gameplay was started by the Slosher just going in at the start and getting 2 picks, and now they have to get, they have to recharge their specials. The stage now gets much larger, and this is when the strikes are going to become easier to farm for a short moment while players recover, and finally Moa puts more points and a penalty on the board. 3 down on Crown.
Yeah, and right now, Moi, they're profiting from the fact that the water dropped to paint everywhere around. They have a lot of specials ready to defend thanks to that. And Crown are struggling to get in. They lost their blaster right there. And Moi are getting the momentum now, are getting more control. There is nobody to contest them on mid right now, Dory.
Yeah, the pencil is set up. The stamper is always happy to just do stamper things under a latch, and the zipcaster just goes in and brutalizes everyone who's waiting for the cooler. But that's 2 down on Moa as well. Even though their cooler strikes, okay, finally they neutralize the zone. But is the Slosher quick enough to run in and get picks again? That's really good gameplay from Silhouette there. Fantastic awareness to dodge that, and now that's enough for them to put the cooler down. So penalty applied, but that still ticks down really fast, Pat.
Yep, and right now, Moa, they know that they can simply get more control and stay all of Crown dropped and are trying to get in, but they're all coming from the same angle, and they pay the price for it! That's
a delayed wipe.
That is huge!
That's
There isn't
huge.
that much penalty, Dory. Look at that!
No, there isn't. They've got 20 ticks left, less than that. They have to go straight in. They have to at least neutralize the zone. The strikes did not do enough. There was Inkstorm, and Hashi was pointing upwards, painting. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
More penalty,
Moa-
but still not much.
Moa were able to extend their lead, but they don't care that penalties applied. They get the wipeout. They stay in control of mid. Crown is only able to get in and get some paint on the zone, but they're not able to stay there. Moa simply stays in control more and more, and it's not stopping. 2 minutes left for Crown to do a miracle right now.
They get a pick. The Inkstorm has actually proven really oppressive at some moments. That's a really fantastic gameplay. They haven't managed to capitalize on this very much. They're still losing players, and that hold does not seem confident at all. All the players from Moa are back now and painting the zone, and it flips, and Crown starts going down again.
Yeah. And right now, chew down onto Moa. This could be the opportunity for Crown to take control. And I mean, that's very good control right now. And Dory, you know how good each of these teams are when they have the control. This could be a huge hold. There's a minute and 15 seconds left in the game, but Crown is certainly not done. They know what they need to do. Moa taking their time to prepare a push. As they are waiting, here comes the cooler, here comes the well, they're going in and they are going for the zone now.
The strikes are out, the cooler is out. This is the defensive strikes, I think. 2 down on the side of Moa. Even though they're trading players, they still haven't neutralized the zone. The Crown are still painting it very well. That splashdown is going to make a big difference, and Moa finally takes the zone. But there's still a player down. They're still losing people, and this is not certain at all. The game could swing either way. We've got half a minute left. It's going to be down to the wire, I think.
Yeah, it's Moa's turn to simply paint the zone but not get the control. As Crown know that they are back to the wall. 20 seconds left in the game, but they lose 2 players. Dory, Crown needs
3 players.
And Moa has control over the zone right now with just 10 seconds left. All Moa needs to do is deny the zone now.
That might be painful. That's
Oh.
That's insult to injury, I think. Just taking out the last players like these. Cleaning. They managed to capture the zone for. How did that happen, I wonder? And that is 3-2.
Yeah, that is 3-2, and that is Moa qualifying for the finals of this Golden Paddling Pool. Incredible set. I'm so glad we got to jump in there and see it.
We jumped in and there were 2 extremely fast games, followed by this really tight battle on both teams getting with fewer than 20 points left. It doesn't really get much closer than this. These Zipcasters were really exciting to watch. Some of these fights were just incredible. And both teams, even though they're so organized, Moa just happens to edge it out by the 1 game. And 9 points, I think, was the difference between these 2 teams.
Alright, and I guess now we know who our finalists are. It's going to be Moa against Pizza Parlor. Our teams are now getting ready. We are now joining the lobby. We'll take a short break and we will be right back with your finals. And welcome back. It is now time for our final set of this tournament. It is Pizza Parlor versus Dorian. Yeah, 0-0 right now. We're at the start of this set. And Dory, we've seen both of these teams. Both of these teams are incredible. Both of these teams are so fast, are so good, so well coordinated, so mechanically just incredible. I want to see these teams fight. And they're going to start on more Makomat. I love Makomat. I want to see it.
I'm so excited for this. I genuinely want to see more Volty gameplay on this, and we go straight in. You know, both teams have locked right in with their weapon selections. They must know this map so well.
I mean, Dory, we saw both of these teams play on here, and Pizza
Yeah.
Parlor dominated. Moi struggled on here. It's going to be rough for Moi. They really need Reiki to do the work with that Splatana Stamper to protect these legends and to be the ledge demon that they're born to be.
Yeah, quick early coolers on both sides, and they take the stack. They're going to start taking the fights already. Although the first pick goes to Pizza Parlor and they start putting points on the board, that's really fast on their part. And they go straight in. Sloshers and Carbon Roller so strong on this map, as we always have known. But it's not quite as easy going for Pizza Parlor anymore. Moi now has control.
Yeah, right now Pizza Parlor they have the control. I didn't notice that they switched to the Splatter Scholar screen 52 Gal. That's allowing them to really take a lot of space right there, delay what Moi wants to do, and right there. Moi are struggling to get in. Pizza Parlor again under this ledge. Both the Slosher and the Carbon are so dangerous. Volty!
Volty doing Volty things again.
Oh.
They felt like they had a slightly nervous moment with the rain just now encroaching, and they stayed alive, jumped out, went straight back to fighting, and now they're more than half done with the game, and they still have specials. This splatter color screen is going to be such an annoyance on Moi's attempt to return to mid, and here it is.
It's there, and Moi are struggling to get to the zone, but here Reiki is on there, he's going to be punished. Volty is called out by the whale, has to move away. That's going to allow Moi to maybe get to the zone. They need to paint it though. They need to paint it now. They lost their
it right
gal.
now.
Oh!
They neutralized. You see, the difference, I think, is because they were definitely ready for Reiki to try to make an attempt at the stack. And even though Moi knew Volty was there, they could not do enough.
Hey, that's Pizza Parlor's best map. And that's out of the way now. That's out of the way. Moi gets to fight on a map, but they chose a flatter map where hopefully they'll be able to stop Volty from running at them and splatting them.
That was such a masterclass. See, both of them doing the ledge goblin things.
Yeah.
And
then
the
Volty.
instant Reiki tried to do something on the stack, 2 players were on them.
Mm-hmm. And that's the power of a carbon comp, is that you have the carbon. If you let the carbon do their thing, the carbon is going to splat you all. And if you want to keep the carbon from splatting you, you need to put 2 players on the carbon, but then that means that the rest of your team is in a 2v3. And it's really, you have to constantly pay attention. Do we need to manage the carbon, or can we play the game and paint the ground to get some momentum ourselves? Right there, Pizza Parlor, showing how strong they can be, how fast and how rough they can fight, dominating this game number 1.
Yeah, we move on to Barnacle, which is another kind of really flat map now. So obviously Volty has, hopefully Volty has less space to work with, but all these maybe Reiki has a little bit easier time now with just the space to use crab. But I feel like Moi really needs to just protect the players that need to be alive at any certain given moment. For example, I feel like Reiki just kind of went in at the end there, but no one really followed that up, which is not something you normally see at this level, I think. But they were desperate, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they've
they
locked
had
in for
to go
game 2 now. Hopefully they can even out the series.
It is certainly not over. Remember, this was the map for Pizza Parlor. Now we're going onto a map that Moi loves very much, and they are bringing their own game. Reiki is staying with the Vanilla Stamper, so no crab for Moi, but still that Zipcaster will allow them to get in and annoy a lot of Pizza Parlor.
Yeah, Zipcaster is a really fun special on this map. You just have so much. You have space to use it. You have the range to use it. You always have something vertical to latch onto. And Volty goes straight in and tries to get the important players, gets the cooler player actually, which is going to make a big difference to Moi's game plan.
Yeah, that was a delayed wipe onto Moi, but Moi still able to respawn fast enough to contest the zone right there. Pizza Parlor, despite that huge pop-off by Volty, not able to get that much as Moi is back in there, and the Tacticooler activated will allow them to get into more fight.
Yeah. The thing about throwing the screen onto the zone is that your enemies know that they have to paint the zone anyway, and so despite Pizza Parlor's screen blocking the entire zone, Moore actually managed to apply penalty first and then capture it properly for just a fraction of a moment there. Gives them a bit of space, gives them a bit of thinking time, and now they're back in and getting bodies. They have to put bodies on the front line and win these fights. Pizza Parlor still doing really well at hiding Volty's movements though.
Yeah, and Volty was found, but Volty doesn't care, able to get in. Oh, not able to get the splat. That is huge for Moi right now. They have a numbers advantage. They're on the zone. It is their turn to take control. Shadow is alone, has to jump away. Shadow is going to get a trade still, but thanks to a long fight, that's going to allow the rest of Pizza Parlor to get back in and get the strikes onto the zone.
Yeah, I think one thing that has been really important is that whenever we see sloshers in these sort of like comps where they are so used to each other's playing, the sloshers have been more than willing to just go straight in and try to get people down. And that was what happened with Kiki and Shadow just now. But then they don't manage to hold that for very long. I feel like Pizza Parlor are just kind of quietly quite confident. That's 3 down on the side of Moi.
Yep, right now, Moi are back to the struggle to get in, and with that screen deployed in front of their spawn, it's going to be pretty rough to get back in there. The clock is ticking, Jory. There isn't any penalty left onto Pizza Parlor as Moi are preparing their next push. The Tacticooler is down. They're going to go forward now, but Volty is getting in there. He's going to get a trade at the start of their push.
Volty trades out. They get another pick, but then they have to paint. They have to paint now. They really need these wins. Fantastic. It was such a pity just now that Moi's Inkstorm had to be thrown so far back. It did nothing to the zone at all. But then Moi is now slowly getting set up. Now they probably, I think the players feel like being able to set up on Pizza Parlor's plat might just help them play a little more calmly. They are kind of edging it out in terms of manpower. They seem to all just be about one player up half the time, which is quite nice. But then the specials are now coming out, and they are lasered onto Volty for this. Volty will not punish that.
Yeah.
And this is huge. That was a huge pick, I think.
Yeah, right now Moi has no penalty left, and Pizza Parlor are still trying to find a way in. They just lost their Zap, Dory! They have the Tacticooler active, and they have the screen deployed, but they need to get in fast. Moi is just 20 ticks away from a KO as Pizza Parlor is throwing all their specials at the zone. That's enough to flip it. That's enough to keep the lead. Now they need to get control, and with a splat onto the pencil and onto the Zap.
Volty with 2! Volty
just
is consistently being the difference between these two teams, and even this sort of movement from Ait here, that's both teams under 20 points again. Volty is going to do things, gets that pick, gets out of there alive, and it's so annoying. You have to fight. It always feels like Volty is just somehow, somewhere you don't expect, and it counts down. Pizza Parlor go 2-0 up.
Moi were so close that game. Moi were so close until Volty appeared out of nowhere and killed them all. That's what happened. And for sure, the rest of Volty's team of Pizza Parlor is absolutely putting the paint on the ground, creating the diversions, doing everything they need to do to make sure that Volty can play their best. And Volty is just sealing the deal, always with incredible play after incredible play. And that was dancing on the side of Volty, simply doing whatever they wanted.
Yeah, even though you can call out Volti when Volti appears, but that takes time, and in that time
right.
you're just 2 down already. It's so punishing. You can never feel comfortable against a team like Pizza Parlor, which obviously they play to enable the slosher and just go in and get picks one after the other all the time. And we're moving to Humpback Pump Track, where we've already seen Pizza Parlor play just now.
Yeah. Though that was a map that they lost in the semifinals. So
True.
It's not over. Moi still has the opportunity to fight, but they're going to need all they have. They're going to need to defend all these ledge options. The Carbon and the Slosher on the side of Pizza Parlor are going to be so dangerous. And of course, we know Pizza Parlor is likely to bring the double strikes again, to constantly paint the zone over and over. On this map, you have so much space to paint for special. These strikes are going to come all the time.
That should be a pool for how many strikes are going to be in total at the end of the game. There's going to be like 20 strikes on both sides, I think, in total. And I'm really, it's just up to Pizza Parlor this time to see whether they can synchronize those strikes to put the points down whenever they need, whenever they really need. They want to close this out as a 3-0. They don't want to drag it out.
Yeah, Pizza Parlor, they like this map. They want to be on this map. They're back with the Splatter Scholar Screen 52 Gal. And on the other side, Moi not really changing their comp. They know it's about coordinated. It's about denying Pizza Parlor from simply running at them. And with already a splat onto them, that's going to be a very, very nice opening for Moi. 2 down.
Early 2 down too. They lost them before Cooler. So that's going to be quite a while before they respawn, and it allows Moi to set up in mid, which is what we really want to see. We want to see a gathered, measured response to the strength shown by Pizza Parlor over the past 2 games. They go in, but they're still trading players. I think Moi is probably happy to trade players, but to keep losing players like this, they're going to be much less than comfortable. And finally, Pizza Parlor flipped the zone, although Moi is already halfway to knocking it out.
They flip the zone, but they pay the price. They lost 3 players in the process. Right now, the 52 Gao is going to be called and splatted as well. Moi are holding pretty strong right now, and they're making quick work of their penalty as well. Pizza Parlor needs to change something, because right now Moi has the momentum, Dory.
Yeah, Pizza Parlor have been you've seen like 2 or 3 jumps out. They've been being forced to just step back because they continually find themselves in danger when they drop. This is so scary. This must feel really scary for Pizza Parlor. They finally get 3 down on Moi and start to set up in mid, but you can see all of the players painting around just to check if anyone is where they don't expect. Fantastic Zuka shot from Volti to take out the pencil, so that's no cooler for Moi for a while as well, and it's going to make such a difference as the time ticks down.
What an incredible Zuka. As you said, Moi needs to wait now. That means Pizza Parlor gets the lead off of that single Zuka. And now it's Pizza Parlor with the control, with the paint on the ground, with Volti. Volti only needs to go in and get the splats. And right now, Moi struggling to drop down, struggling to get to the zone. The strikes are on the zone, but they only neutralize. They lost 2 players.
They lost 2 players.
Pizza Parlor looking to seal the deal here and there. They can get it, but Moi is on the zone.
They have to paint now. 2 down on Pizza Parlor. Oh my god. These teams are definitely just running at each other now. I cannot imagine what the energy in the VCs is like. They have to be yelling at each other to get on the zone. Play the objective. Moi has one task here, and it is not to lose players like that.
You can't lose your strikes player in the middle of the strikes. Volti still getting more and more. Pizza Parlor now with 2 minutes left. They don't even need a KO. They have a good lead, and they have the ink strikes so that they can throw at the zone whenever they need. So it's really on Moi to get not only paint on the zone, they need to get a push to push Pizza Parlor away.
with double strikes. Pizza Parlor, I think they can just wait it out. They probably feel like they can wait it out with Volty getting these picks like that. 3 on camera, no less. And it's just down to the pencil player to stay alive and not go down with whatever special charge already. Pizza Parlor now looking much more comfortable after probably getting rocked for a little bit at the start of the game. They are getting the picks they need. They are feeling like they are using the strikes at the same time. And a pick like that's really, really unwelcome for moi.
And right now, Pizza Parlor on the last minute of what could be the last game of this tournament. Holding incredibly strong. The strikes are coming, but they are not enough to paint the zone. Shadow
they don't
getting
paint
the
over.
zone back with a Tacticula.
There's no more penalty left.
One.
They trade players. They have to paint. One player left. No. That's 3-0 clean sweep for Pizza Parlor.
And with a 3-0, Pizza Parlor is going to get the golden Battling Pool 290. I mean, they deserve it. That's all we can say. They absolutely dominated that final.
That was a masterclass, honestly. They really locked in for this one. After dropping a game in the semi-final, they were like, nah. We're just better. We're going to win this. And against a team as strong as Moa, they really pulled it together. Look at how organized the players are here. They all knew what they had to do, and they did it perfectly.
Yeah. Incredible game plan and incredible execution by Pizza Parlor. Simply, I mean, Moa kept themselves alive. They managed to deny the KO once, but not twice in the end. And yeah, as you said, Pizza Parlor, I think they dropped only one game. No, they dropped another game during groups, actually. But yeah, they were very much dominating this whole tournament.
Wow.
Incredible.
I do like it. I genuinely love it when you get golden paddling pools and people come back and they bring their best game. Certainly the teams have practiced for something like that. You know that they will pull up together, come here and win the games. You know, they want to show that even though they don't play every weekly, they are still better than the rest of you. and that is what they've just done. I also want to say that it's such an amazing thing from the production team to pull up these replays so that we don't all have to rely on our memories. Those are fantastic to watch. Just great stuff all around. And congratulations to Pizza Parlor for winning Paddling Pool 290. Come back in 2.5 months and do it for 300.
Yeah, it's going to be the next one. It's going to be a big one. But now, Dory, it's time for us to say goodbye. And before we go, can you plug yourself? Where can I find you on the internet?
You can find me on the Twitter link here, as well as on Blue Sky. Lots of people have been switching recently, so you can find me on Blue Sky by typing cogdoris.me into the search bar, where you will see this little baby. And you and you can. I also stream on Twitch under the same name. So. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for having me on. I've had a great time. And where can we find you, Pat?
You can find me both on Twitch and Twitter at PadgeAutom. It's written on your screen right here. You can also find me on Blue Sky if you just remove the underscores, and you'll be able to find me like that. And we need to give a special shout out to the person who gave us the wonderful replays, Jorian. Jorian, can you plug yourself? Or where can I find you? Yeah, you can find Jorian on Blue Sky by typing Jorian in your search bar. You should find him. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
That was Paddling Pool 290, the golden one. There will be a Squid Junction on Saturday evening here on Dapple Productions, and of course we'll be right back next week with more Paddling Pool action. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!